Night 4 of week 4 of term 4 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. All the fours lining up for you, ladies and gentlemen, and how ironic and how appropriate at the same time that there are 4 races on the program for you tonight. Starting here with 2 from the Hockenhiem ring for round 4 of the GT4 series before we rock and roll over to Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama, or a sprint round of the Spreyton Ciders Porsche Cup Series. I'm Zach Caban, Daniel Corriasar, Josh Zuno are in the director and producer box for us tonight. Daniel Benefield's here alongside me in central commentary. Monday night apparently off limits with Mr. Benefield, but we'll get to him and his thoughts with regards to tonight in just a few moments' time. Let's have a look at the itinerary and where we're at and what we're doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Hockenhiem ring in Germany, there it is for you. Far better conditions than the monsoonal cyclonic, tropical Phillip Island serving that was offered up last Thursday night. 10 past 10 local Central European daylight time for you there this morning in Germany. 22 km/h winds in a mostly west to northwesterly direction, 19 degrees the ambient, 19 on track, 91% humidity and cloudy conditions as well. We're looking at a 4.53 kilometre circuit, of course, that first debuted as the scaled back, reconfigured Hockenhiem ring back for the 2002 German Formula One Grand Prix. Championship standings coming into this round in GT4 after a compelling 3 rounds so far. Sam Muir on top of the points table at the moment on 149 points. John Merritt 135. Sam Chapman 132. Sean Lindsell 131. It's tied at the top. Adam Lavis not too far away on 124, 115 for Dale Sharp, 108 for Nick Wood, Jack Atkinson on 98, and Lane Thoburn on 94 points. Daniel Benefield, good evening to you. Welcome. Last time we went sprint racing by, gee, we had some fun. Willow Springs, and everyone was talking about the incident between Louis Greathead and Sean Lindsell. Lindsell's on the grid tonight. I can't see Greathead, but we are set fair for some fantastic racing here. It's a tricky little track because you never know exactly what's going to be dished up. I'm never too sure what to expect when we come to the Hockenhiem ring. Sometimes we get an absolute corker, other times we get a snore. I guess it depends on the category and the format. But this is rip, tear, rush, bust stuff, and particularly in the invert in the second race tonight on a circuit where overtaking opportunities don't, necessarily openly present themselves. These boys will require a little bit of gusto about them. They're going to need to get the elbows out. Good evening to you.
It is a bit of an interesting track, this, because you'd think that there's plenty of overtaking opportunities, but it's a track where there's a lot of medium speed corners, and medium speed corners, unless a couple of categories, one of them being one later on tonight with the Cup car, doesn't really provide overtaking opportunities, but that hairpin is going to be very important in race 2 particularly.
And given the record fields we've seen of the Porsches so far this season, I cannot wait to see what's dished up when we get to Barber Motorsport Park. Right, Sam Muir and Connor Nixon the front row here tonight. Sam Chapman and Sean Lindsell the second, Alex Court, John Merritt the third, Neville Mell and Tim Harris the fourth row, Rodney Gollan and Luke Turner from row 5. A couple of new names on this grid. Liam Miles from 6 alongside Michael Adams, Robert McGrath, Lane Thornburn 7, Josh Millard, Ash Stacey 8, Adam Lavis, Kurt Normanson 9, and then Dale Sharp and Brett Bradbury round out the top 20. From 11, it's Eduardo Zamora and Nick Wood. From 12, Kurt Chapman and Paul Wood. 13, Phil King, Jack Atkinson. 14, Dane Snadden, Aidan Schultz. 15, Sean McClure and Grant Gill. Now, Gilly didn't set a time in qualifying there, but he's going to start outside row 15. But what we can tell you is that this is a star-studded field. 30 in the server. They had to be in before qualifying commenced, such is the Luke Piper, holy crap, sub number 666, yes. What we can tell you too, ladies and gentlemen, is this is a stacked and packed and talented field of competitors. The influx of new names is just testament to the growth of the club and the way it continues to go from strength to strength. Yep, names are are going, but more names are coming, and that's a really good sign for the future of the club. It's really thriving at the moment. German manufacturers represented heavily in the top 15 on the grid. Only one McLaren in there, of course, of Neville Mell, the exception to the BMW, Porsche, and Mercedes show. And just having a look down there, yeah, as I said, we all had to be in the server ready to rock and roll before the 12-minute qualifying session got underway. Such are the rules of iRacing when it comes to sprint racing formats. So the pace car pulls off. We're ready to rock and roll. Can the championship leader convert into a race win here, Daniel? Or can Connor Dixon spring a surprise, or maybe someone behind that?
The top 3 rows really is really the whole championship battle. Muir, Nixon, Chapman, Linsell. Not so much Court, but Johnny Merritt's the first BMW down in 6 as well. It's going to be an interesting race to see if they race each other hard for the race win here, but don't forget top 10 invert for race 2 as well as a pit stop in that race as well. So are they going to play for track position for race 2, or are they just going to go hard out now?
Well, that's exactly right. And how conservative will they be here in race 1 compared to how hard they're going to go in race 2? And will race 2 for some be a case of strategy play or damage limitation with regards to their invert starting position? All these questions soon to be answered. Let's get ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. Night 4, week 4, turn 4, race 1 of 4 on the program, race 1 of 2 for the entree. The main course to come from Birmingham, Alabama a little bit later on. Sam Muir and Connor Dixon, Porsche v Mercedes on the front row, Porsche v Mercedes on the second row, Sam Chapman and Sean Lindsell there as well. We get set to unleash GT4 on the Hockenhiem ring. We're racing in Germany. Let's go to work. Muir, a good start from the inside. The first corner can and probably will trip somebody up. Let's wait and see. Can they all get through cleanly? So far, so good. Surprising for Germany and for the Hockenhiem ring. Sam Muir leads early. Chapman down the inside. Under pressure from Sean Lindsell, who will have the inside running for the left-hander. The drag race down the hill will be in favour of Chapman, but Nixon will look to get the up and under. By gee, that was a bobble from one of the BMWs, Tim Harris, a little bit further back, getting it all sorts of crossed up on the exit of the left-hander. Now the braking duel down to the fastest point of the racetrack and the hardest braking point of the racetrack as well. Lindsell to the outside. And he's going to hang tough around the outside rather than opting for the up and under on Sam Chapman. And he's got that run off the hairpin around the outside. Lindsell will go to third. Merritt's got by Alex Court early on as well. Good to see him back on the grid. Neville Mell, Luke Turner in there as well. Oh, jeez. Luke Turner nearly got smashed into by Rodney Gollan as well. And Michael Adams is inside the top 10. So that invert position, Daniel Betterfield, is going to be really well hard fought for tonight. That top 10 is going, there's going to be a few people disappointed on missing the cut here.
There will be indeed. Michael Adams currently up to holding that 10th position. Sam Chapman's had a horrible lap 1. It was all over the back of Nixon off the start. Those front two have skipped away with Lindsell and Chapman battling. He held the inside through the hairpin. I think he might have got a tap from John Merritt, who was racing Alex Court. And as a result, he didn't get the run he needed off the hairpin and let Lindsell through, and then went really deep into the first arena section.
Lap 1 in the books. It's a 9-lap sprint. 16 minutes for race 1, 27 for race 2. Neville Mell sitting there in 6th at the moment. Good to see him back on the grid. Back we go to Adam Lavis, boxed in the pack at the moment in 17th. A tough slog awaits him from there, and at the moment is exactly where he started. Nick Wood's up 4 spots. He's one of the biggest movers of the night. Dane Snadden has that honour with 5 spots gained. Sean McClure 4 as well. All 5 manufacturers represented and all 30 cars still running. Aidan Schultz to the rear of the field. Paul Woods lost 5 spots. Adam Lavis. And Seth, what's going on with Chapo, please? Have we just lost the server? Oh dear. Hello, Daniel Carresa. Good evening to you. Hello, Josh Suno as well. Sam Muir, Connor Dixon. It's saying that they still lead. We're getting nothing of except for the ambient shots at the moment. Adam Lavis has been caught up in an incident. He's dropped down 8 spots. I think I'm right in saying, or is it 7? I need to have a look. No, it's actually 13. Adam Lavis has dropped right to the rear of the field, and it looks like he's had packet loss issues. So that might explain why we're having some problems at the moment, to be honest with you, because we usually do have some sort of correlation with Adam Lavis. We've picked up the field once more. Oh dear, it's going to be a long night. Adam Lavis out of business. It looks like the internet's gone kaput at his end. Sean McClure has dropped back down to 29th. Aidan Schultz back to 28th. Paul Wood is 27th, down 3 spots. Grant Gill up 4 spots, 26th at the moment. And there's a log jam of cars, Daniel Benefield, from Sam Chapman, who's 4th in the train at the moment, all the way back to Robert McGrath in 14th.
There is indeed Sam Chapman. Well, we lost the server momentarily. They got back by John Merritt for 4th. So the BMW seems to be struggling again here as well. We saw that at Phillip Island last week in the wet. The BMW struggled a bit. John Merritt, the highest BMW in 5th, and the only BMW in the top 10 as well at the moment. And he's got a line of cars behind. Look at all the early McLaren there of Neville Mell, Court, Turner, Golan, Adams, Thurborn, all there lining up for a run at John Merritt, it seems.
Yeah, Merritt commented last week that it was a battle of survival at the island, but I don't think he was the only one thinking that. Neville Mell to the inside, and he's going to... Oh, no!
Oh, no.
Jeez, that's unlucky for John Merritt there, because I don't think Neville Mell saw him there on the outside. So I think that's nearly a racing incident. Merritt had nowhere to go because Mel was coming across in front of him, and there's more contact behind as well. Geez, look at Luke Turner getting the elbows out. To 6th he goes on the inside of Rodney Golan, and in behind them is Lane Thoburn and John Merritt, and Michael Adams is 8th at the moment in the train here. Sam Muir leads from Connor Nixon. Sean Lindsell, the fastest lap of the race, 1:45.218. Merritt has now dropped to 10th, and it's... oh, no, he's caught up again! Can you believe that? Now Merritt's in the wall. Adams was caught up in that. So too was, I think it might have been Lane Thoburn, but he might have been able to get away with it. Merritt caught up. In trouble early on. I was just about to say, he's in a great position with regards to the invert and getting a clear run, and then this happens.
So we're on board with Merritt here. He goes to the inside to Thurborn.
Squeezed.
That's kind of weird. Like, it looked like he kind of got stuck to Thurborn, and then the rear of the car stepped out. It's almost like when he braked, it pulled the rear of the car, but the front of the car was almost stuck in the back of Thurborn. Oh. And it just, that's a weird one.
And poor old, I'm just trying to pick up who it was that was off the road with him there. Michael Adams, he got caught up as an innocent bystander in that, because it was Merritt getting into Thoburn and Adams was just collateral damage. Thoburn, there's the contact there, you're right, straight into Thoburn. That's netcode if ever you've seen it. And all of a sudden Adams is the innocent bystander because Thoburn was out of control after the nudge from Merritt. He couldn't back it up, he couldn't pull it up. And chaos ensued. Merritt's had to come to pit lane, so that's his night just about done. Adam Lavis 2 laps down with the packet loss. Neville Mell on pit road as well, also caught up with that incident with John Merritt. Sean McClure also showing on pit lane. Carnage in the early stages of the Hockenhiem ring, and I think that answers Daniel Benefield's question with regards to race 1, and now we await with bated breath for what awaits in race 2, ladies and gentlemen. We ride on board with Connor Nixon, keeping Sam Muir honest at the moment.
Almost certainly tonight, John Merritt will use his second drop round. We know his first round was half points because he was in the McLaren when he was meant to select the BMW, and unless he pulls off some miracle run in race 2, he's not going to be scoring a lot of points tonight either. Up the front though, it's a bit of stalemate, to be honest, with Muir, Nixon, Linsell and Chapo. Chapo was actually the quickest of the 3. Personal best lap for Chapo last lap of 45.0. The next best was Linsell, 45.3, Nixon 45.5, and Muir the slowest with a 45.6. So our top 4 are slowly creeping back up together as this is Dane Stadden in 17th now on the back of Arado Samora into 2.
So there is Dane Snadden. And another log train of cars there. Adam Lavis has got back out onto the track, but he's 2 laps down, so that does explain that it was, or clarifies that it was a packet loss. John Merritt was stationary for 15.35 seconds. We ride on board with Snadden now. Ash Stacey's just got by Josh Millard ahead of these guys. Snadden dives to the inside of Zamora. Oh, no, not yet. Not yet. And back in behind Snadden, of course, is Kurt Chapman. So Zamora has lost contact with Nommensen and Wood as well. Stacey and Millard are battling ahead of that. Isles and McGrath are keeping Tim Harris honest. Thoburn's got back, recovered to 8th. Behind Gollan, Turner is 6th. Court is 5th and having a little bit of a lonely run. Chapman and Lindsell are doing their best to latch onto the back of Nixon and Muir, who leads the field. Of course, Lindsell, very, very good last week at the Island in very challenging, I think probably the worst conditions we've ever served up for them here on the platforms of the GSRC as we cross the line once more. Snadden has now got by Zamora. Snadden moves up to 16th. This is lap 6 of 9, ladies and gentlemen. So we've got 4 laps to go, and then we invert the top 10 and go again.
Something's happening between Snadden and Zamora. They both just dropped down to 22nd and 23rd, respectively. It's pretty close. So you're mentioning Tim Harris, Rob McGrath, Liam Miles. That's the battle for 9th, and this is what happened between Zamora. He just got it loose on the marbles coming through the little chicane and has unfortunately collected Dane Snadden as well. Here's the onboard now. And Zamora's going to tip it left here, and the rear's just going to go around ever so lightly, but enough to collect Dane Snadden.
Another sting in the tail tonight, another twist in the narrative.
But going back to my point about Tim Harris, you mentioned that battle for 9th. That battle for 9th is 3 cars vying for the front row, really, for race 2 at the moment, between Harris, McGrath, and Isles. Isles about 7/10 off the back of McGrath at the moment, and look at these 4, how close they're getting as we enter the last third of the race.
So 3 laps to go next time by the line, and Sam Ewer's just controlling this one nicely. Connor Nixon has latched on. Sean Lindsell's there. Sam Chapman hasn't lost contact with that top 4, that top 3 rather. Porsches flank the 2 Mercs in the middle. Court and Turner, the 2 Mercs, 5th and 6th. Porsche 7th. Thoburn in the Merc is 8th. Harris in the BMW. The best place to the BMW is 9th. McGrath 10th in the Merc. The first non-Porsche, Mercedes or BMW is the Aston of Ash Stacey in 13th. Matt McLaren of Neville Mell has parked up and retired from the race. He's done. Sean McClure's got back out there. He's a lap down. Adam Lavis 2 laps down as we make our way down the back straight again. Back to Daniel Benefield's point. Someone's going to miss out there. At the moment, it's Liam Miles. Front row promotion for Tim Harris and Robert McGrath awaits, but at the moment, Liam Miles is on the outer with a lot of work to do from 11th in that second race. And we've seen it before, haven't we, Daniel? These guys, and you know yourself, you've done enough of this racing caper to make the most of the free kick. Chapo did it a few weeks back. We know that there are some drivers that just thrive on getting that free kick from 10th to the front row of the grid, or even 8th to the second row of the grid, for instance, and they go on and convert it into a strong result. Someone here has the chance to do that tonight, whether it'll be Robert McGrath, Tim Harris or Liam Miles remains to be seen. And Lane Thornburn, even from 8th, I should say, that'd be 3rd on the grid, so he would be a strong chance as well.
It's that exactly. It's having, if you have a tough qualifying session or even a tough race 1, but you only drop back to, there's a bit of movement just outside the top 10 I'm seeing at the moment. Some cars, Rob McGrath is dropping down as well as Ash Stacey. But even if you have a tough race 1 but manage to get back to inside the top 10 at the end of race 1, which will give you a good grid position for race 2, it kind of can salvage your night at the moment. I was going to say, like, if John Merritt, after his first little incident with the McLaren of Neville Mell, he was 10th, so he would have been in a good position to save his night, but then the contact happened with Lane Thorburn, and we all know what happened after that.
Now, the interesting thing for mine is where Chapo is at the moment. He's 4th. He would be content to stay there because that would be 7th on the grid. And that would be an inside run to turn 1. If he goes by Lindsay, he's all of a sudden on the outside. So I reckon there might be... Oh, no, actually, I'm wrong. Chapo dives for it. Down the inside, 1-2 for the price of 1 contact with Nixon. Lets Nixon go, and Lindsay's going to come through and convert on that as well. So back to the status quo. But unfortunately for all of them, Sam Muir has bolted and all but assured himself with a lap and a half to go of a race win. In fact, the top 4 won't change now, I don't think. And we need to have a look at the replay, I'm being told. A crash involving Liam Miles on the opening lap. He's still showing 11th right now within striking distance of Josh Millard. Tim Harris has gone to 9th. Josh Millard is 10th and Liam Miles 11th. There was the contact. I'm not sure, if I'm completely honest, what's going on there. I think there's been a little bit of a potential change around. Yeah, Josh Millard, Liam Miles. Something's happened to Robert McGrath too, boys. He's on the tow rope on pit lane. John Merritt's back on pit lane as well. So there's been something unfold. Oh, no. So Robert McGrath's been caught up. And it's all about to go, yep, down the clacker, down the proverbial. Oh, jeez.
So I believe that
McGrath on the tow rope.
That might have been for P10 as well. This
it would have been
this little incident when it happened. So Ash Stacey just oh no, so unfortunate for Ash that almost avoided the incident, but just as
so
Rob McGrath rolled backwards, caught him, and this is Sam Chapman. He was way too deep into the hairpin, ended up collecting Connor Nixon. You were making the point literally just before that, Zach, as we watch from on board again, and he's gone, okay, Lindsay's braking here, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, then brake, but it's well too deep for the hairpin. Collects Nixon.
It needed to be a lot quicker count, as
yeah, it definitely did. But you were saying just before that, does he want to consolidate 4 for 7th in race 2? I think that might answer your question.
Yeah, clearly he didn't, but he's going to have to now. He's going to have to. It'll be Sean Lindsay consolidating 3rd, Connor Nixon 2nd, and Sam Muir 1st. Brett Bradbury's just come unstuck. And that's going to catapult him back down the order to 21st, maybe lower than that. Lane Thoburn to 8th. Tim Harris holds on 9th. And Liam Miles has got himself into the top 10 at the expense of Robert McGrath, Nick Wood 11, Kurt Normanson 12, Jack Atkinson, Kurt Chapman, Dane Snadden, Dale Sharp, Josh Millard. Something's also happened. So Millard and Stacey, something's happened there on the final lap. Millard's fallen out of 10th, back to 17th, Stacey to 18th. But at the front, there's no stopping Sam Muir. He's the championship leader for a reason. He wins race 1 of round 4.
The incredible thing, Zach, is that I believe that's his first actual win of the season. So it's taken 5 races for Sam Muir to finally win a race, despite actually being the championship leader.
You're spot on, mate. You are absolutely spot on. He didn't even win the round at Willow Springs. That went to Sam Chapman. So we've had 3 different race winners, and now that makes it 4 with Sam Muir. And 3 different round winners so far throughout the course of the campaign thus far. Chapman managing to win race 2 at Willow Springs to secure the round. Sean Lindsay's a round winner, having notched up last week. Sam Chapman winning round 1. Sean Lindsay's got 2 race wins to his name. That was race 5 of the championship. And now a race win for Sam Muir. Joins the ever-growing winners list at the top of a very competitive GT4 campaign on the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. Now, quick reminder, tomorrow night, we'll get to the results in a moment. Quick reminder, tomorrow night, Joe Baldwin, Nick Fodiatis with you, 8:30 Eastern. Radicals, Downforce Legends style, 2 sprint race program there for you. That rounds out our programming as far as week 4 is concerned on the platforms of the GSRC. Sam Muir from Connor Nixon winning margin 1.07 in the end. That's all on that incident between Chapman and Nixon. Lindsell managed to get back, wedged himself back in between them for third. This will be so good to watch when we have a driver or two from our team. That's Apex Hunters Racing. That's, of course, Craig Bond and his crew. They're tuning in tonight. They're making plans behind the scenes to get involved in this caper. They're young karters on the rise. They're working at, the likes of McDonald's, KFC and Hungry Jack's to, save up the money to get their sim rigs. They want to become involved in this caper. So they're watching on with interest to see what these guys are all about tonight. Sam Chapman was fourth, Alex Court, Luke Turner, Rodney Golan, Lane Thoburn, Tim Harris, Liam Miles, the top 10. Olsey will have the pole off the invert in just a few moments' time. We go down to the bottom half of the field, if we can, please, Daniel. Just have a look at who did what there. Unfortunately, Neville Mellor, retirement, Adam Lavis, Robert McGrath, 2 laps down. They should be back in the service. Sean McClure, John Merritt and Brett Bradbury, all on the comeback trail in that second race. Connor Nixon jumping in. He doesn't normally jump in between race 1 and race 2, but since you have, very quickly, what were your thoughts on that? It seemed a bit processional until Sam Chapman decided to bowl it down the inside.
Yeah, hello guys, good to see you. I thought I'd come say hi.
How's your lunch going, by the way?
My lunch? Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah. About that time, but no, it was a good race. It's a bit boring, but no, it was I saw Chapman coming and I'm like, oh no. So no, it was all good. We just had a chat over the radio. He said, oh, I'm so sorry, and I went, no, look, it's all good. Like, it's racing.
You guys take each other out. You've got back to second. He went back to fourth, and Lindsell slotted in the middle quickly because you're about to line up on the grid very quickly. What's the plan of attack here, mate? Because you're going to have to do some overtaking to get back to the pointy end.
I know, right? I don't know, really. I'm just going to give it a go. Look, if we can follow Muir through, he's really quick tonight. So, look, I'm happy just to sit behind him and, get another second or something. But if not, whatever. We'll see what we can do. But, yeah, if we get another win, that's 3 nights in a row we've got to win. So, yeah.
Oh, no. Go see if you can be the 5th different race winner in this championship campaign so far, mate. Good luck. Go well. Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Have a good one.
We will indeed. Now, just as leave the grid there for me, boys. I'm coming back to that in a moment. Before Connor slid into the booth, I was going to say we're brought to you with thanks to the great people at Spreyton, Ciders, Waste Options, Orbic Australia, Bowens, the Builder's Choice, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia and Flash Graphics. So a big thanks to all of those people, because without them, none of this is possible, least of all the broadcast that you all get to sit there and enjoy at home. Liam Miles, Tim Harris front row, Lane Thoburn, Rodney Golan second row, Luke Turner, Alex Court the third, Sam Chapman, Sean Lindsell the fourth, Connor Nixon and Sam Muir from 5. Direct invert of the top 10 finishing results of the first race. Nick Wood, Kurt Normanson from row 6, Jack Atkinson with a little bit of work to do alongside Kurt Chapman, Dane Snadden and Dale Sharp from 8. Josh Millard will be a man looking for redemption in the 9th row alongside Ash Stacey, who was on the cusp of the top 10 earlier, Michael Adams and Phil King from row 10. So right there in the back half of the top 20, guys that caught the rough end of the stick in this opening race. Eduardo Zamora, Aiden Schultz from 11. 12 is Paul Wood and Grant Gill. 13, Brett Bradbury, John Merritt. 14, Sean McClure, Robert McGrath. And 15, Adam Lavis. There is no Neville Mell on the grid here. So we're down to 29. Daniel Bannerfield, quickly, your tip.
This one's a bit harder to call, to be honest. Thoburn should be good from third, but it's going to depend how quickly those top 4 from race 1 make their way through the field. So Chapo, Lindsell, Nixon and Muir, we'll see how they come through. A little championship note as well, John Merritt, I know I already kind of touched on it, but 0 points in race 1. So we'll see where he can get to in race 2 from 26 on the grid.
All right. Let's see how this plays out. Hold your breath, folks, because we know that it's fraught with danger in the early stages of an invert. The last time we did this in GT4 on a Thursday night, it was complete and utter carnage and chaos. Willow Springs will never be the same again. We got our highlight reel from GT4 for the season in one race. Set for a start. No mucking around from Liam Miles. He hits the gas and get going. Let's go from the Hockenhiem ring once more. Race 2 of round 4 of the championship on a night that is stacked with racing for you. The platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, a 4-race program on night 4 of week 4 of term 4. And it's a beautiful conversion off the line from Liam Isles ahead of Tim Harris. Down on the inside, Luke Turner. Uh-oh, here we go. Turner's parked on the inside. Evasive action deployed. Here we go. Can they all miss him? Yes, they can. Wow. Turner drops to the rear of the field. Nick Wood's caught up as well. He's come unstuck. Grant Gill's lost a few spots. There's a big gap between Sam Muir and everybody else of about 2.5 seconds. So something else has happened. And I think it was the incident for Nick Wood down out of turn 3. Carnage on the opening lap. Let's wait and see what happens down at the hairpin. Hold your breath there as they're diving 2 and 3 wide. But everybody appears to have got through okay, except for Grant Gill tippy-toeing at the back there and pulling up to the outside. He's about to let Nick Wood and Luke Turner go through. Now, is Gill going to keep going? Yes. Oh, no. Aiden Schultz, bang, gone. Oh. That's a heavy hit. Schultz is caught up. He's taken the Mercedes of Robert McGrath with him. And McGrath's going no further. Just carnage on the opening lap. Again.
Indeed, as we get the replay from Aiden Schultz, he's on the inside of, I believe that was Josh Miller, and he's just lost it, and he's, that's the ABS working against him. He's trying to hold the brake, trying to slow the car down, but in these cars with ABS, it doesn't lock the brakes, so he just keeps rolling back, and unfortunately rolled back across into Robert McGrath. Inside here, he's caught the curb, which has put him into the side of Millard, and he's just spun him around. You can see he's trying to turn right to stop the car sliding back. He's braking and turning right, and the car just keeps going left. How unfortunate for Robert McGrath.
How unfortunate for Aiden Schultz as well. Had moved himself forward in that first race to 22nd. It all goes belly up on the opening lap. Robert McGrath's parked up and done for the night. Josh Millard's off the road again as well. Millard's off the road. Gollan's trailing Isles by 0.8, and here's Lindsell working his way down the inside of Nixon. Court's in there as well, so too Muir. Log jam traffic. Lindsell to the outside. Nixon to his inside. And then they roll back into single file formation.
These guys need to be careful. Like, these are the top 5 from race 1. They're spending too much time battling each other rather than going forward, which as a result means that the top 5... Oh, Nixon almost into the back of Chapo.
To be fair, and I'm going to come back to that in a moment, the top 9 have a gap of 3.5 seconds to 10th. So they have got a little bit of a buffer to play with they wouldn't normally have. But it's because of that garbage that's happened to Nick Wood and Luke Turner that has brought those guys some breathing space. But they don't want to get squabbling amongst themselves down in the back half of this 9-car fight, because the top half, Isles, Gollan, Harris, have the potential to skip clear. I don't think they will. I think the pace deficit or discrepancy between those 9 cars will eventually see the likes of Lindsell and Muir work their way forward. But they are playing a patient game at the moment, and they've got 15 laps to do it. We've just completed lap 2. We're on lap 3. Next time by 20% distance, we'll be in the fuel window. We're waiting to see who does what with regards to strategy, with regards to trying to buy themselves some clear air in the hope of pushing forward and using the pit stop sequence to their advantage.
And they're all lifting and coasting. You heard Chapo into turn 2, they lift in behind Zobo. They're all, as long as they're still in contact with Liam Isles at the front, which they all are, they're just lifting and coasting. Sam Muir had a massive lift at the end of the last lap as well. Chapo, he might be close enough that he may want to go for the move here, but we'll see if he lifts. Yep, massive lift.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, Chapo.
Okay.
Open.
Let Nixon through.
Nixon straight up on the inside to go to P5. And here comes Sam Chapman, Sean Lindsell as well. Lindsell trying to get by Chapman, not going to happen. Court's in there too, and in behind him is Sam Muir. Down the inside, that is Lane Thoburn on Tim Harris. Tim Harris, the Benson and Hedges throwback. They've put a 90s iconic livery, and in fact it's a livery that stood the test of time from about 1988 on Ford Sierras through to 1994 on BMWs in the 2-litre days, and put it on a modern day GT4 spec bimmer, and it looks just as bloody good. Well done Timmy Harris, in 5th at the moment, under pressure from Chapman and Lindsell and Court and Muir. It's a freight train. Thoburn knows the importance of trying to reel in that deficit, because Isles and Gollan have now broken clear.
They have indeed, and literally half a lap ago I was saying how they're happy, content just saving fuel in the train because they're still in contact. Now they're a bit less in contact. 1.2 between Golan and Thurban at the moment, and Nixon's coming. Nixon's going to have a run into 2 here.
So, and Nixon, he won't muck around here. He'll want the run. He'll want the line. He'll want the inside. He'll want the position. Gets it down the inside of lane, Thurban. Thurban happy to let him go. He's got the fastest lap of the race as well, Connor Nixon. Very nicely done. Harris is trying to go with them, but we know that the BMW isn't the best car to work with here compared to the likes of the Mercedes and the Porsches. We heard that from John Merritt last week. Tim Harris, of course. I'm sure we'll verify that if we do get the chance to have a chat with him a little bit later on, because now he's being passed on the inside by Sam Chapman as well. So it's an all Porsche, all Mercedes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Rodney going to the inside of Liam Miles as well. Arms back down on the outside. Golan on the inside. Who will be the last of the late breakers here? Golan wanted to force the issue too wide through the kink. Oz will hold on for the moment. Golan to the outside. Will he try the up and under? No, he doesn't get a chance to. Oz got across to cover it off. Oz will lead them through the right-hander, but they're under serious pressure now, and they've been caught once more by Connor Nixon and co.
Nixon just caught a second in the middle sector of lane Bates. Whoa! That's not going to work. Nixon should have the run here, and he'll go straight through to P2 on the outside.
Wow. Nixon almost on the grass to put the mark to second. The big send from Connor over on the other side of the number ball. Watch this. This will be an awesome onboard shot from Connor Nixon. There's the mistake from Golan. Nixon straight up on the AstroTurf. I'm surprised iRacing didn't ping him for track limits or give him a slowdown attached to that, because by gee, that he did not have a wheel left on the bitumen there.
In the moment, I was surprised he was on the outside. I thought he would have been able to scrub up enough speed to sneak up the inside, which would have put him on the outside for the hairpin, but he was already so committed to the corner that he had to go to the outside rubber Golan. Here comes Chapman on Thurban.
Yeah. So it's all going horribly wrong for Thurban. He's just getting hung out to dry at the moment. Forces the issue back down on the inside of Chapman. And through he goes once more. The drag race is on in earnest here. And look at Sean Lindsay wanting a piece of this as well. If he can get into the slipstream, there's the potential for 3 wide, baby, down the back straight. Lindsay backs out of it for the moment, but it's still Thurban and Chapman side by side. And now Lindsay gives Thurban a love tap. This is one of the races of the season already. There goes Connor Nixon to the race leader on the inside of Liam Miles. The boy from WA with the kamikaze send previous lap finds his way to the front. We talk about instincts, we talk about knee-jerk reactions, and you've got a split second to make that decision what you're going to do, go outside or inside, and Connor chose entertainment over common sense, and it paid off.
Something's happened to Sam Muir while this is all going on now as well. He's in the pit lane on the toe, I think, in 25th. Thurban still holding on to the inside of Lindsay. This racing is in Thurban around.
Oh, into the wall. Thurban's night is done. It might not technically be done, but any chance of factoring in the main results has been dashed by that. Good morning to Antonio Tresna. What a way to wake up for you at 5:15 American Eastern Daylight Time this morning. Tuning in, watching this from upstate New York, of course. Last weekend, of course, the center of the Formula One world was in the United States. This week they go to Mexico. Wayne Thurban, this is the moment. Oh, he's done it all on his own. Lindsay wouldn't have had anywhere to go even if he didn't avoid the contact.
Too much inside curve from Thurban and just upset the car. He was defending from Lindsay on the way in. Way too much inside curves. It's just slid the rear out, and I don't think Lindsay actually hit him. I think Lindsay managed to actually miss him. Who did it? Alex Court, not so lucky, he did get it into the back of the ERT Mercedes. In the meantime, it's odd for second, and this is what happened to Samuel. I saw him drop down. Is it?
He was out.
Foul? That's weird.
Night is done. Can you believe this? Samuel was out. Championship implicating moments here, and I reckon that'll be a real world issue, the way he's just pulled up on the side of the road like that and towed to pit lane. Muir's night's done. Rodney Golan still holding on to second. Connor Nixon has bolted 1.9 to the good. We said a few moments ago, go out there and make yourself the 5th race winner of the season in GT4, and he's about to do it. He's certainly on track. He's just got to keep it straight and nail the pit stop shortly. Gollan, Isles, Chapman. Chapman will want to get by Isles and Gollan without too much of a hassle or an issue there. Lindsay will be thinking the same thing. Great drive as well from Alex Court. Tim Harris is in behind them. Dane Snadden, Jack Atkinson and Kurt Chapman make up the top 10 at the moment. I want to go back to what Jessica Sharp said there as well. Hello to you, good evening, glad to have you on board. She mentioned Sharpie, and I saw, I think, yes, Sharpie along with Adam Lavis, Ash Stacey, Nick Wood, Kurt Nommenson, Luke Turner and Josh Millard have all darted down to pit lane for their splash and dash, and it is done. Jack Atkinson now coming in at the end of lap 6. We're on lap 7 and so much has unfolded so far.
I know it's pit stops, including pit stops that are in the pit window, but John Merritt 10th, up 16 spots at the moment. We'll see where it plays out for him once the pit stops are completed. But Connor Nixon is gone. 1.7 seconds up the road from Isles. It started to stretch out. 1.7 seconds over Gollan.
Yeah.
Isles is becoming the cork of the bottle, I feel. Chapman all over the back of him. He's got Linsell and Court for company, and not too far behind them is Tim Harris as well.
But, you know, the funny thing is, Epic Racing and GT4 as usual, the comment from Greg Brooks, he's not wrong. These guys have dished up top shelf first class material all season. We hope they can continue along that trajectory for the remaining 6 weeks of the campaign, remembering that we've got a mix of sprints and enduros to get us through to the checkered flag on Thursday, December 5. Here is Sam Chapman diving to the inside, and Liam Isles was more than happy to let him go. Chapman moves up into the top 3. Gollan the next target. Big drive down the inside from Sean Lindsay. Oh, Isles hanging tough on the outside, but Lindsay's through. So he goes to 4th. Alex Court will be the next target that Liam Isles has got to contend with. Tim Harris is a little bit further back. So too Dane Snadden, John Merritt and Kurt Chapman, with the pit lane activity unfolding at a relatively moderate tempo at the moment. Only a few coming in here and there. It's not one big dive bomb on pit lane from all and sundry. It'll be interesting to keep an eye on that. Sam Muir has got back out there, but he's a lap down. Disaster for him. We'll have to find out what happened. Josh Millard was on the pit lane for 50 seconds. Luke Turner for 48, so they've had stop and hold penalties come their way. Kurt Chapman, Paul Wood back on pit lane right now. Alex Court trying to go around the outside of Liam Isles as well. Lane Thoburn still on pit lane, has been for 3 3/4 minutes. Eduardo Zamora, Brett Bradbury, Aidan Schultz, Robert McGrath all parked up so far. Sean McClure, Sam Muir and Josh Millard all down 1 lap to this point of what has been a frantic GT4 encounter.
I wonder if Alex Court not quite getting the move done there on Liam Isles, but I wonder if Liam's cooked his tyres, because he's dropped like a stone the last lap. He's got dropped behind Chapman and Linsell. Chapman now coming at Gollan. Down the inside, Gollan will try and defend, but here comes Chapman around the outside. Thanks for coming, he says. Chapman a second. Next target, Connor Nixon, 2 3/4 seconds, and Chapman did just clock the fastest lap of the race. 1 minute 45.472. Lap 8 of 15. Half race distance has come and gone, folks. 7.5 in the book, 7.5 to go. Caught to the outside of Isles. Isles covers him off for the moment, but for how much longer? 3 Mercedes, 3 Porsches in the top 6, then 3 BMWs, and the Porsche of Michael Adams rounds out the top 10. Dane Snadden up to 8, John Merritt up to 9, Tim Harris up to 7th, but the top 12 in this race, sorry, top 11 in this race are yet to stop. Make that 10, because I just saw someone darting down pit lane. It was Sean Lindsay. Lindsay to pit road. Great move by Alex Court to get by Liam Isles into the arena hairpin as well. And he just continues to drop backwards as Liam Isles in this Porsche Cayman. And he's got Tim Harris now coming up to the back of him if he hasn't just dropped out of the server. And he hasn't. He has come back in the background we saw there.
I'm just having a look. No change to server settings at this point. We've still only had the 4 retirements. So we started with, 5 retirements, because Neville Mel dropped out in race 1. 4 retirements so far in race 2. And Sam's got them skills. He's so good to watch in that Porsche. You're right, Brooksy. And he's 2.5 seconds away from Connor Nixon, who did respond with the fastest lap of the race for Spreyton Cider. 1:45 4.69 for Connor Nixon for Drop Bear Motorsport. Quick shout out, I should mention, I do send a heap of grief in the direction, or a heap of flack in the direction of our Western friends, our Western family, WA, of course. It's not lunchtime over there, it's only afternoon tea. But a big shout out to the crew at carco.com.au Raceway, the WA Sporting Car Club, and also Turn 7 Media for having me on board in a very similar capacity to how I do the sim racing commentary over the weekend, ladies and gentlemen, remotely. Being able to commentate their last race meeting of the year from the very same setup that I'm commentating for you tonight. It was an absolute joy, and they turned on some fantastic racing as WA dished up 4 seasons in 1 weekend, and he's hoping there'll be more opportunities to work with the crew over there next year. There is Paul Wood on screen in 16th right now. Adam Lavis just ahead of him, Dale Sharp just ahead of them. They've all pitted, they're all on their way to the checkered flag. Rhea Miles and Alex Court to pit lane right now, and Chapman with the fastest lap of the race now, 1:45, 1:58. So they are trading fastest laps are Nixon and Chapman, and there is John Merritt continuing through into 6th place now. Next target, Dane Snadden. Thanks for coming. Merritt to the inside to go to P5. Snadden won't have a bar of that. Does not want to let Merritt through. Holds on to 5th for the moment. Merritt will try and sweep around the outside and then do the up and under down the inside. Now watch this. There'll be a bit of SMS work potentially here from the Echuca Toyota Pulse Tuning BMW with John Merritt on Dane Snadden for Whiskey Business Racing, running a very different livery setup tonight. There's no blue and yellow on that livery whatsoever for Dane Snadden. To the outside he goes, to the inside goes Merritt. This time it's a much cleaner run through the hairpin for John Merritt, but Snadden has still got the run on the outside.
They both kind of went deep. Merritt missed the apex, and Snadden, I think that might have been planned really wide to get the exit out of the corners. Merritt looking up the inside here. Not quite close enough. Nope. But a good exit from Snadden as a result keeps 5th place over Merritt, who's looking like he's got a bucket of pace right now. Both guys having a great race so far. Snadden up 10, Merritt up 20. Of course, pit stop still to play out, and these guys have not stopped yet. Neither has Michael Adams in that Porsche just behind them. The leader of the pitters at the moment is Alex Court in 8th, but our race leader is in.
So Connor Nixon, that's the one that we've really got to keep an eye on here. They're all in. Here we go. Connor Nixon, Dane Snadden, John Merritt all on pit road. Critical lap for 3 of the top 10 contenders right now. And it's going to be interesting for Connor Nixon at least to see where he comes out relative to Sam Chapman and Rodney Gollan and what the games are like. The games that are being played, the racecraft, the up and under, the undercut, the overcut, all that sort of stuff. All that to play out over the next couple of laps. Particular interest with regards to what Chapman can do in relation to Nixon, whether he can shave some of the advantage that Connor enjoys at the moment or not.
No, still lifting Sam Chapman, even in clear air with the race lead now that Nixon has pitted. It's a case of what could have been for Sam Muir, because he's just done the fastest lap of the race, down in 22nd position and 1 lap down, 45-1 for Sam Muir. But
no.
So Nixon.
Oh no. Dane Snadden, sorry to jump in there, Daniel. Dane Snadden's got to stop and hold on pit lane.
Oh, he does.
It's a 48-second stop, 49-second stop for Dane Snadden, and one that he will be kicking himself over. There's no doubt about that. Here comes Alex Court back up alongside Sean Lindsell, and this is for track position. These two have both stopped so far, and Court holds on over Lindsell for the moment. Lindsell to dive down the inside. Court making life extremely difficult for him, trying to close the door.
This was what I was going to mention. Lindsell actually lost out to Court in the pit stop, so he's going to have the over-under here, but he caught parking the car nicely on the apex. This completely stops Lindsell's run.
So Lindsell has got to get aggressive here. He's going to have to get the elbows out and go punch for punch with the defensive Alex Court. Can't dive down the inside. Court closes the door yet again. Top 3 have hit the lane. Chapman, Harris and Gollan to pit road. Where will they return to the racetrack in relation to the leaders? Connor Nixon, the effective race leader at the moment. Chapman's got out. Chapman's on the run, but Nixon's coming through. It's not in now. Chapman's got the overcut. Nixon gets it back on the inside. Side by side on the run down to turn 3. race is on again. 1:15, 4 to go. Chapman in the back with his right one distance.
And we saw before the stops that Chapman was closing up a second and a half quick in the pit stop for Sam. Chapman's definitely going to help his case. And now he's in the draft of the big Mercedes in front of him. This is going to go right to the line.
Indeed it is. Oh, GT4. I tell you what, I'm a little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit disappointed with how the season's played out in the sense that we no longer have Formula V. But I tell you what, GT4 is fast cementing itself as a very adequate replacement. Now, I'm not sure what's going on, whether it's my mic or Daniel's or somebody else's. Can someone let me know if it's my end, internally I mean, Daniel Cressar, Josh Suno? Okay, nothing's happened, nothing's been done, but it seems to have been fixed. Thanks guys, appreciate that. Not sure what's going on tonight on the platforms of the GSRC. Oh dear. Hey, have a look at this. Sam Muir's in there as well. How disappointed he will be that he's had to drop a lap in this race and toe the pit lane. And now this is... Oh, okay, something's happened to Sean Lindsell. Something's happened to Sean Lindsell for him to only be 9th ahead of Michael Adams.
So I know he was alongside Alex Court coming into the heap, and this is what the replay we're looking at now is. He's gone very, very deep. Court's made the corner fine. So something's happened further beyond this.
Yep. Let's just stick
further down the line. So this is the next corner. Has he gone? He's outbreaking himself, and he's caught the curb.
No. Renzel's done that to himself, and all that is frustration.
Yeah, we saw Alex Court being very defensive. Oh, and he's almost put it in the wall trying to recover as well. We saw Alex Court being very defensive pretty much as soon as both these guys had stops defending. And rightly so, Alex Court trying to secure his first podium of the season.
It should do that now.
And yeah, he's got 4 seconds over Rodney Golan or Liam Miles. They're battling at the moment for P4.
Hang on, come on, Chapo. Watch this. Chapo to the lead on Nixon. What about that with the up and under? Chapman's the leader in Germany. We missed that whilst we're analysing what happened to Sean Lindsell. Chapman leads Nixon. Chapman could join Sean Lindsell as a repeat race winner in this series. Nixon, if he can find a way back by Chapman, will be the 5th different race winner of the season, Daniel.
I wonder if Nixon ran too wide at turn 1, got a slow. It looked like he was serving a slowdown because he had well over half a second before that. Yeah. So I wonder if he got a slowdown through turn 1 because he seems fine now and he's all over the back of the Porsche.
Damn those pesky slowdowns. I want to come back to you about the Lindsell Court accident in just a moment to get your take on it from the driver's standpoint, Daniel. But in the meantime, these guys got 2 laps to go, and they're going to be hard fought 2 laps as well. Chapman and Nixon and Court and Golan and Merritt. And Atkinson, Isles, Chapman, Lindsell and Adams, the top 10. Sam Stride, good evening to you. Let's not go down that line because I've got no idea what you're talking about. There's always one that has to take off-air conversations, which he starts on like that, and run them on air. Thank you, Stridey. Good evening. Nixon with a big send on Chapman. Hey, SMSing if you don't mind. 11.5 to go.
Sam Muir must be very frustrated that he's a letdown right now, sitting in behind these two, because these two are going hard at it. Actually, he's just dropped back quite a bit, has Samuel. Nixon, another big dive!
Oh. Are you kidding me? Nixon does not want to give this one up. He wants a way back by Chapman. Chapman's not going to give up without a fight, but they cannot afford... I mean, they can. They've got 11 seconds on Alex Court, but they can't afford to take each other off the circuit. Exit stage left or right to gravel or grass by arguing that vigorously over this. It's going to be a lap at the line. It's going to be the white flag in the air, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Porsche versus Mercedes for victory honours again on the platforms of the GSRC. Thursday night motorsport across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. And Nixon with the big send around the outside. That didn't work. As we get underway for the last 4.5 kilometres of this one. Race 6 of the championship, round 4 at GT4. One of the show-stopping acts of turn 4 on the platforms of the GSRC. Nixon under brakes to 2.
So
Can't find a way by, but he wants to set himself up for the back straight, Daniel.
So Chapman's still saving fuel. He underfueled so much. He's still actually trying to save fuel to get to the end. He had a bit of a bobble on the last corner. That's why Nixon had such a good run. And then Nixon, because of Chapo saving fuel, almost ran into the back of him on the brakes. He's not going to be close enough into the hairpin though.
No. Big send though. Has a look. Backs out of it. Chapman gets across to cover that off. Can Nixon get the run on the exit? No. Chapman's half a lap from home. Sam Muir's ruining what might have been. Alex Court has third secure at the moment. Rodney Gollins fourth. John Merritt has got himself back to fifth ahead of Jack Atkinson. Those two have gone tit for tat at various points during this campaign so far. They're doing it again. Flying the flag is the best place BMWs, but all eyes on the front as Nixon eyes off Chapman, but Chapman's 3 car lengths clear. 1 sector to go, ladies and gentlemen. Another showstopper from GT4 in the entree slot on a Thursday night. Chapman's got this one, I think. 3 corners to go. He gets across to cover off Nixon. The defensive work from Chapman. Will Nixon be close enough to have a lunge, or will it be side-by-side drag race time with a checkered flag? Nixon's trying to set himself up for the up and under. Round they come. Last turn. Checkered flag. Photo finish potentially looming here, ladies and gentlemen. Chapman's got it. Chapman by nose. Chapman by length back to Nixon. 0.18 the margin. 1:45. 4:07 to end it for Nixon, a 3:85 for Chapman. Chapman gets his second race win of the campaign. Court going. Atkinson gets by Merritt, I think, on the line for 5th. Isles, Lindsell, Adams and Chapman make up the top 10. So Chapman's top and tail of the 10. Sharp 11th, Lavis 12th, Wood, Stacey, Wood, Nommensen, King, Harris, Snadden and Turner make up the top 20. By gee, there's a lot to pick apart there.
What a final couple of laps. I thought Chapman might have had the pace advantage there after Nixon got a slow down and made him. We still don't really know why he essentially pulled over and let Sam Chapman by, but Nixon really came back at him afterwards, and he joins us now, Connor. Firstly, congrats on the second podium for the race, but was it a slowdown at turn 1? Because we saw you essentially pull over and let Chapo by.
Yeah, got a slowdown, unfortunately. Just pushing. Oh, no, right. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. I just pushed it a little too wide. I knew there was a slowdown out there, and you can get an off track, but if you go too wide, you get a slowdown. So there was a limit of how much you could go out there. But look, it's just not, I wasn't meant to win, and Sam got the win. But yeah, we take the overall over the round. So yeah.
Connor, to be fair, and to be honest, I'm really glad that the next guest has just joined us jumped in and joined us in the commentary box as well. Really looking forward to having a chat with Alex Court, because one of the comments I didn't get a chance to get back to there from Jess Sharp actually was in relation to the livery that Cordy was running. I know he'll happily have a chat about that in just a few moments' time. Kurt Nommensen's about to join us. Sam Chapman's here as well. And that one has big championship implications as well, boys, because if we have a look at the results there, behind Luke Turner, I ran through the top 20 on screen there a few moments ago, but behind Luke Turner, Grant Gill got to 21st, Sam Muir rather, back to 22nd, what might have been for him. Sean McClure, Josh Millard, Lane Thoburn, Eduardo Zamora, Brett Bradbury, Aidan Schultz and Robert McGrath. Now, McClure was a lap down. Millard, Thoburn joined Zamora, Bradbury, Schultz and McGrath, who are all early retirements. Much later in the piece, those guys retired. Lane on lap 5, Josh on lap 7. You would have had to have got to lap 11 to be 75% race distance covered off. In fact, you might have even had to get to lap 12, to be perfectly honest, because everything's about 6.67%. So you would have had to have got to lap 12 on the 75% rule, which is 80% technically, given it was a 15-lap race. So in the end, everyone down to 23rd. Sean McClure got home. Not terribly large, that attrition rate tonight. In fact, about 20%, maybe just a tad more of the field that started didn't come home. But there's stories up and down that field, and we'll go through them in just a moment. Connor, those slowdowns are cruel, but I actually thought you might have been owed one earlier, because there was a bit of showmanship from you going on the outside coming into the stadium section. You did not have a wheel on the racetrack, mate. It was all on the AstroTurf, and how you kept it off the grass and kept it straight is beyond me.
Yeah, hold on for dear life and close my eyes. No, yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm happy Sam won. You know, Sam and I are good mates, so yeah, it's good to. I'm glad I raced Sam. I haven't raced him for a while, and yeah, it's good that we can race him on track instead of yeah, just talking a little bit of stuff in the commentary box. So yeah, no, it's good.
I think the little stuff in the commentary box you're talking about is smack, but that's another story.
That's a good word, yeah.
Yeah, a very good word. I try only to pick good words, Connor. Trust me. For those of you tuning in at home, top of the hour on the east and west coast, of course, bottom of the hour in Central Australia. We're going to Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama for round 4 of the Spreyton Porsche Cup as Thursday Night Motorsport continues. It's 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Western, 11 o'clock New Zealand, right here on the platforms of the GSRC across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Connor, consistency, mate. I mean, it's big in this championship, isn't it? Yep, we're still a few weeks away from drop rounds being factored into the equation and the calculations here. But you probably needed that result tonight, to be fair. We haven't seen enough of you so far in this GT4 season. I'm just trying to scroll all the way down. Where the bloody hell are you? You're down in 35th, Connor. So a DNF last week. A DNR the week before and the week before. So you've got no drop rounds at your disposal. So tonight, 2 seconds is a pass mark. There was no risk in trying to get by Chapman again there on the final lap and risk bringing yourself unstuck.
Oh, that's it. Look, I don't want to make myself look like a fool. You know, taking out Sam, it just wouldn't look good. And yeah, I think it was just we got that slowdown, and I was just like, look, that's my mistake. You know, he's earned the win, and there's no point, you know, doing anything stupid, really. So yeah. But yeah, the 2 DNFs would have been, actually the DNR and the DNF. The DNF was me just being clumsy, and the other one was, yeah, I had a seizure that week, so I couldn't race. So yeah, it's yeah, it was good to be back at Phillip Island, but yeah, hard conditions.
Absolutely. I mean, Hockenhiem was a breeze compared to that, right?
I know, right?
Now, listen, I mean, it's basically with it or bit it for you from here on in, because you're working from behind. So we'll get a clearer indication of where you are once the drop round factor comes into play at the end of week 7. But what are you hoping to achieve with only 7 rounds under your belt?
Oh, just go hard, be clean, just have a bit of fun. I don't want to wreck anyone's championship that are majorly in it. I know Sam's in it, and Linsell, and a couple of other boys. I saw Sean had something, not Sean, Samuel had something wrong as well, so feel bad for him. He's a really good competitive diverse. So yeah, no, look, if we could just be clean, get some good points up on the board, if we can get a little trophy at the end of the day, that would be nice. If not, whatever.
And by the way, it wasn't lost on me the irony of you making the comment about not wanting to make a deal of yourself, because you've done that a couple of times in here before. And your protagonist there in Sam Chapman, he's no stranger to drama in this time slot on the platforms of the GSRC either. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So on that note, Connor, can we? Sorry to cut in here, boys. Daniel, can we bring up the calendar and remind everybody what's ahead of us here for the remainder of the season, because we've got some great tracks on the way, folks, and some great race formats as well. We go sprint racing again next Thursday night. Now, Daniel Benefield's not here next week. I'm reliably informed. He's off to see Coldplay, lucky bloke. So it's 2 sprint races there, then a flat-out 40-minute sprint from Barber. Then on to Mid-Ohio, and that'll be give or take. Circuit Zolder will be the same. Donington Park will be the same. But then Watkins, Glen Boot to finish it off, boys. So we're 2 sprint rounds in. We've only got 2 more sprint rounds to go. We've got a lot more 40-minute races in the final 6 rounds of the campaign. Let's get your thoughts initially on Portimao, the Algarve International Circuit. Connor, we've already been there a couple of times this season.
Yeah, funny enough, I haven't actually raced it. There's been a lot of opportunities to go and race it, but
have you at least bought the circuit?
Good question. I think I have, actually. I was going to race in AMG, Dan's league, but I ended up not racing because I was like, bugger driving the Porsche. So yeah, we're gonna stay out of the Porsche and just running the GT4s for now. But yeah, look, it's yeah, hopefully it should be good. I know the track has been made to good standards, so yeah, should be good.
Oh, it's an international masterpiece. There's no doubt about that. It's got some good character about it. It'll be very good for GSRC sprint racing, no doubt about that. Right, mate, go and enjoy the rest of your night. Actually, well, the rest of your afternoon, really.
I know, right?
Yeah. What's your next racing assignment, please?
Gents? Yeah.
Oh, in general.
In general, we've got Scops Sandown 500. Should be. We're practicing for that, and then we're going to practice for V8s at Spa, and then I've got to make a setup for Tyson for Pro Series. So I've got to get the old workbook out and yeah, do a bit of study for that one.
Actually, well done to the Pro Series boys. Good show they put on last night on the street.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Jared Philsell back in the winner's circle. Dylan Rudd did enough to wrap up the championship. They've still got a round to go, of course, but yeah, the job is done in 2024 at least. Connor, thank you, mate. Great to catch up with you. Appreciate it. We'll catch up soon.
Great, thank you guys. Thanks for the broadcast and thanks for the drop there. Appreciate it.
And the benefits of being on the west coast, of course, you can go out now and watch the sunset. So let's move from him. Chapo, I'm coming back to you because you're a committee member and you're the race winner, so we need to come back and tick that off in a moment. We'll get back to Kurt Nommensen in just a tick as well. But Alex Court, it's nice to have you back in the booth on the platforms of the GSRC, mate. Nice to see you out there. Nice to see you being competitive, mate. And really, to be fair, you're in the top 5 in race 1, used the invert to your advantage and pushed forward another 3 spots to get your first podium of the campaign. I think I'm right in saying, mate. Well done and nice to hear from you.
Yeah, thanks boys, and thanks Zach. Yeah, look, it was a spur of the moment thing. Schultze asked me if I wanted to race, and I was like, yeah, why the hell not? Let's give it a crack. So yeah.
Your night went better than his.
Yeah. Normally does, but
it's one thing that me to set up the serve and lobby for you, but it's another for you to complete the drive by. Jesus, well done.
Nah, Schultze loves it. He's a good lad, and yeah, it's unfortunate that he didn't have a very successful night. So, but yeah, no, look, it's good to be back up in the booth. It's been a while since I've spoken with you guys, so yeah.
Now, mate, and I noticed it as well, and I wasn't sure if you were going to drop by and have a chat to us because it's been a while between drinks, as you say. But we're getting a lot of comments on the livery and how nice it is that you're raising awareness. A lot of people commenting on the fact that they love the livery. So tell us about it, because I know it's a cause that is personal and one that's therefore close to the heart for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, this is just a trading paint that I found, and I used to run the GT4 officials a lot a few seasons ago, and yeah, obviously, as you said, like the autism is something that's very personal to me, and yeah, spread the awareness as much as I can. So I didn't stream personally tonight, but when I do, I always run the Racing with Autism logo on my streams, so yeah.
And they're big supporters of yours. There's no doubt about that. There was probably the moment of the night. Of course, poor old it was Lane Thoburn going exit stage right. Sean Lindsay having to get on the anchors to let him go, and you having to get on the anchors because Sean was getting on the anchors. Great awareness on your part and avoidance as well, mate. Talk me through, because I'm so familiar with your exploits in supercars. That's how we met going back a couple of years over on Simshed Broadcasting and the Goodyear Auto Carolina Super Series and its other various naming rights. But you've started to dabble out into other leagues and other disciplines. So talk to me about GT4 and coming back to the fold here, and why you chose the Merc tonight, and what you made of the night that was and the Hockenhiem circuit in general.
Yeah, so I did run the supercars in GSRC last season.
Yep.
But haven't really been enjoying the supercars of late. So as you said, I've been putting the toes in other categories, and as far as the Merc goes and GT4, it's just a car I've always enjoyed driving. So yeah, but obviously I also run the Radicals on Friday night and loving that, and again running the Racing with Autism paint that Austin Riley ran a couple of seasons ago. He's a young guy over in Canada who races the Radicals himself, so check him out on socials, and yeah.
Just because I know we're about to lose our timing results screen there, Daniel Bannerfeld, can you quickly make a mental note of the names Luke Turner, Dane Snadden, Tim Harris and Sean Lindsell? Because when I finish talking to the boys about the race, I want to come back and get your thoughts on a couple of things there. Cordy, what's next for you, mate? And how regularly are we going to see you popping up on the platforms of the GSRC this term, please?
So next up is Friday night in the Radicals. So that'll be potentially every round I had to miss last week, and could potentially see me back in the GT4s next week.
Very nice. How's everything going down there on the Upper Isle?
Yeah, pretty good. Recently engaged. So
I did see that. Congratulations. Yes.
Thank you. So yeah, things are going very well, and yeah, it's slowly warming up temperature-wise, but we've had a couple of days of rain, so back to reality now.
Back to reality, indeed. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I hadn't had a chance to speak to you personally. Yes, we did notice that good news slide across our desk, and it's nice to see that some people are still having luck in that field of combat as well. In saying that, I spoke to a friend of mine tonight who was the lovely Grace Fitzgibbon. She was reading the news she was reading the weather, I should say, on 7 News tonight, and I said, make your weather read bloody quick, would you? I want to watch Home and Away. And then she said she's not in Sydney tomorrow. I was hoping to catch up with her whilst I'm down there. She's off to perform a marriage ceremony as a celebrant. She's got that as a side hustle. And I said, happily ever after my backside. And she said, yeah, I tend to agree with you there, because we've both had hopeless luck in that department over the years. However, we wish you nothing but the best and hope that you're an exception to the rule, mate. Good to catch up with you. We've got to press on here because we've got the Porsche standing by at the top of the hour. Stop back anytime you like and we'll have a chat, but good to catch up with you, and well done tonight.
Too easy. Always a pleasure, Zach, and thanks everyone else.
There he is, Alex Courtin. Hello to Fitzy as well, if she's tuning in by any chance on the way home from work tonight. Kurt Novinson, good evening to you. Talk us through your night, please.
It was just a consistent night, keeping consistent pace, and I think I stared more at the back of the twitchy foot car of Nick Wood than I did watching the racetrack.
It's a bit like that at this circuit, isn't it? It's tricky to overtake on, so therefore you occasionally just get caught playing follow the leader, and you get sick of doing that. You get sick of the side of the car in front. It's just a challenging racetrack to master there's so much risk and so much gamble involved in executing an overtaking manoeuvre.
Yeah, I mean, I took a few attempts, dropped back about half a second, and then had to catch him back up again. So it was good racing, both in the feature and in the first heat. I think I was just glued to the back of his car for pretty much the entire time. So, no, it was a lot of fun and had a really good night racing with all the guys.
Now, it's been an interesting season thus far. Because I know you're nabbing semi-consistent results, but what's the secret? What's the key to maybe pushing forward and being in the top 10 instead of looking outside in added and being on the cusp?
I think it just comes down to learning what the GT4 car handles like. I haven't driven them anywhere near enough to be as competitive as I want to be, so that just comes down to I need to spend more time driving these over the next few seasons and see if I can improve, just like I have in the supercars and I have in the GT3 cars.
in excess of 40 again for the Porsche grid tonight, ladies and gentlemen, as timing changes on my screen here. And we're getting some times in from the qualifying session for that round of the championship, which we're bringing you very shortly. But what's next for you, please, Kurt? And what are your thoughts on Portimao next week in the GT4?
Portimao could be interesting. Definitely one that I'm probably going to like again in the Mercedes. It's not too technical for me. But yeah, then I'll just be doing some enduro racing this weekend to try and learn Montreal for the GT3 cars, and then we'll go on from there with some supercars.
And looking forward to Montreal on Monday night as well, straight off the back of the Australian Postie Bike Grand Prix in Cessnock this weekend. Kurt, where time's going to get the better of us here, mate, but thanks for stopping by. We do appreciate it. Look forward to catching up again next week.
No worries.
There he is, Kurt Normanson. Sam Chapman is unavailable at the moment, so we'll keep going here. Daniel Benefield, welcome back to you. The first three names that I mentioned there, all a case of what might have been, particularly Dane Snadden, all those guys getting caught out by pit lane entry. They got stopped and held for a good 40 seconds by the powers that be at iRacing, so that was the end of their chase, the end of the road for them. It was just a case of getting out there and finishing, but ruin what might have been, not factoring in the results, etc. and so forth. But the other one that I wanted to talk about with you was Sean Lindsell. You know what it's like. You're in that pressure cooker situation. You could tell that frustration got the better of Sean Lindsell there, because he desperately wanted to find a way by, and that desperation caught him out and tripped him up, and Alex Court was therefore the beneficiary of it.
He was indeed. It looked like, obviously we're not going to see the replay of it again, but going back to that accident, it looked like similar to kind of the Aiden Schultz lap 1 incident, where he just he outbraked himself, but then caught the curb, which pushed him into court, and as a result spun him around. But 8th, it's still an okay finishing position. It's not the end of the world like Sam Muir's 22nd. In terms of the championship, but we did quickly see, as we were starting the interviews, that the championship stands for GT4, and that championship is very, very close at the top.
Indeed it is. And I dare say it'll be even closer after tonight, because Merritt had a shocking race 1, Muir had a shocking race 2. Chapman and Lindsell both had beauties, although Lindsell had a much better race 1 than he did race 2. Sam Chapman has now rejoined us. We can have a chat to our race 2 winner in GT4 on the back of setting a 8th fastest qualifying time in Porsches, we might add as well, mate. Good evening to you. Well done. Solid result. Yep. Okay. Maybe a little bit impatient, maybe a little bit ambitious with your move on Connor Dixon there in the latter part of race 1, which also could have caught Sean Lindsell up in that as well. But thankfully, no harm, no foul. Everybody pressed on and order restored. No change, no gain, no loss. But then race 2, you drove a very smart race and benefited from Connor's slowdown. But you also reeled him in with a little bit of an undercut, or overcut in your case, in the pit stops, and everything just fell into place nicely for you. And for the second time that we had a sprint round in GT4 this season, you've won the feature.
Yeah, no, it was. It all panned out pretty well there in that final race. It was looking quite difficult. Just I couldn't get past the 2 ahead between Connor, and he was just pulling time. I mean, it went out to about 3 seconds, and but yeah, was able to just stretch out that fuel as I often do, and yeah, I was stretching it probably a little bit too far. I was still doing a lot of lift off on those final few laps, so which, is sort of why you saw it looking a bit juddy, but I think it also made it a little bit unpredictable for Connor as far as being able to overtake is concerned. So, yeah, pretty happy with that. I'm very grateful that he didn't get taken out by my move on that first race. I obviously wasn't trying to overtake him. I was trying to overtake Lindsell, but was clearly a little bit late on the brakes and on the dirty line, and just misjudged it. So I'm glad we got away with it, and there was no sort of change of position there.
43 cars in the server tonight, ladies and gentlemen, from the Porsches, when we get stuck to that in a moment. Chapo, it's tightly contested at the top of the championship at the moment in GT4. A fourth and a first tonight serves you very, very well. You're right in there with the chance of being a contender. What's the plan of attack from here to contain that and control and get yourself into a winnable position by the time we get to round 10 starting next week with Portimao?
Yeah, I mean, probably put a little bit more practice in, I think.
Here's an idea.
It used to be a script in the GT4 to Quali, and I would often be right up the top there, and that's just not been the case this season. So I think I just, the race pace has been alright, but that Quali pace is, I probably need to work on. And then the other thing will just be beat Sam Muir. So obviously Linzel's right in there with it as well. Yeah, Sammy's beat me a couple of times, so I'd like to try and get one up on him. It looks like he had a nightmare tonight, though, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems to be that Porsches and Mercedes seem to be the cars to have in this championship at the moment.
Yeah, well, I mean, tonight was interesting, actually, because the Bimmers looked really, really strong throughout, but yeah, then in that early race I was able to overtake John on the outside, so whether or not I was just running really low wing or and he wasn't, or it's just different altitudes and different horses for courses, I'm not sure, but it's looking pretty strong, but yeah, I guess it's also the same competitors that are up the front there too, so whether it's the cars or the competitors, it's hard to know.
All right, off you go. Get stuck in because we've got the Porsches about to jump onto the grid for race one, mate. We'll talk to you at the end. Go well.
Thank you, mate. Have a good call.
Can't help noticing the Porsche race is an hour or so earlier than what I'm used to. Yes, thank you, Jordan. Don't feed me straight lines, mate. You're on the Gold Coast and you know why it's an hour earlier. The joys of not being in a progressive and civilised part of the world, 112 years and 1 hour behind for good measure. But enjoy the Gold Coast this weekend. It's a lovely part of the world, and I'm sure you'll enjoy sunrise at about 2 a.m. tomorrow morning. Daniel Bannerfield's here alongside me. He's also an hour and 112 years behind at the moment. I'm in progressive civilisation in the beautiful New South Wales Hunter Valley right now. That was too easy for yours truly to take the bait there. Let's have a look at the Barber Motorsport Park circuit very quickly here, folks, because cars are about to line up on the grid. And it is 12:30 in the afternoon server time, 28 degrees the ambient, 42 on track, partly cloudy conditions, 22% humidity, and the wind is mostly south to southwest sort of direction at 13 kilometres an hour. It's a 3.66 kilometre circuit. It's one of our favourites that's IndyCar visits each year annually, and of course we visit quite regularly through various different categories here on the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Coming back to the championship points as soon as we get a chance to come up for air tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Big grid, so let's get through it. Adam Hayne has pole position alongside Corey Lazarus, Mark Gomes, Sam Muir, the second row, Simon Mesmo, and Rain Campbell, third row, Craig Schultz, Luke Swan, fourth row, Sam Chapman, Jack Jackson, fifth row. Craig, with that sort of time, might be far off a promotion into the elite split, I would imagine. Sixth row, Adam Jepson, and also Shannon Fever. Seventh row, Patrick Clean, Russell Gander. Eighth row, Chuck Hong, Eli Donaldson. Ninth row, Ben Woods, Corey Bennett. 10th row, Jonathan Akers and Adam Lavis. 11 is Vinnie Nguyen and Paul Wilson. 12, Brendan Grosh and Jaden Wilcox. Good to see Brendan back on the grid after missing Monday night. Eduardo Zamora, Stephen Crediton from 13. Lachlan Frank, Sean Rees from 14. Fitzroy Beaumont and Dean Hunt from 15. 16 is Paul Wood and Joe Baldwin. 17, Stephen Gallagher, Nick Wood. 18, Dale Atkins and Tristan Koch. 19, Greg Heaney and Martin Walker. 20, Jamie Christensen and Dave Oliver. 21 is where you're going to find Aidan Schultz, Brett Bradbury and Greg Levine from 12, should he take to the grid. Have a look at them. Almost backed up around the final corner. We've got about 20 seconds here, Daniel Bannerfield. Your tip and why?
Well, the top five, I think, was separated by less than half a second in quali, so I think it's going to be a very interesting race, and at a track that's not necessarily easy to pass at. So Adam Haynes in the prime position here, being on pole, but Lazarus, Gones, Muir and Mizomo, who's leading the championship despite not winning the race, will all be coming for him.
No Schultz, no Bradbury, no Levine. Still 40 on the grid, however, for the fourth round of Spreyton side of Porsche Cup on the platforms of the GSRC. They're gone. Slow start from Craig Schultz. He's dropped a couple of spots already to Chapman and Jackson. Mesimo a good start. At the front, it's Hayne leading the way through. Couple of cars wide at turn one. A lot of carnage at the back. 3 carts in the kitty litter. And the narrative will play out that we've still got cars trying to find their way through round the final corner. And yes, Sean Rees has started from pit lane, Fitzroy Beaumont, Jamie Christensen, all in trouble early, and another car's just gone bowling off wide to the outside at the end of turn 5.
Ryan Campbell's had an issue. He was the car wide at the hairpin. He's dropped all the way down, and Chapo's dropped as well. Campbell's down to 22nd. Chapman is down to 35th.
Can you bloody believe that? What a start. Carnage on the opening lap here at Barber Motorsport Park. And we've already got 3 cars on pit road. Fitzroy Beaumont, Jamie Christensen and Sean Rees. So Rees actually is parked up and is done. I thought he was getting on the tow rope or joining in from pit lane, but no, he is done. Unbelievable. Or he's dropping in and out and having packet loss issues, one or the other. Very, very disappointing start of the night for Sean Rees. And now Stephen Crediton off the road as well. Fastest lap of the race, Adam Hayne, has opened up a 0.8 of a second advantage over Corey Lazarus. 1:29.543. Race time should be around the 1:24s, given that was the pole time earlier. And Adam Hayne, Corey Lazarus, Mark Gomes, Sam Muir, Simon Mesimo, the top 5 remain exactly where they started. Luke Swan's up 2 spots, Jake Jackson's up 3, Craig Schultz down 1, Chook Bung Wong up 6, and Ben Woods up 7. Eli Donaldson up 5 spots, make up the top 11 thus far.
So something happened towards the lower half of the top 10 as we see Campbell start the fight back through the field up on the inside of Lachlan Frank through the hairpin. That's P20. Adam Lavis next on the menu for Ryan Campbell. But something happened. Campbell and Chapman both started inside the top 10 and both dropped down the field massively on the first lap around the hairpin. So I wonder something's happened between those two. As a massive slide for Ryan Campbell.
What a save from Ryan Campbell. Porsche's doing Porsche things, but that's great driver car control. He's all over the back of Adam Lavis like a cheap suit at the moment. Just ahead of them is Vinnie Nguyen. 15-second penalty for Jamie Christensen for the contact on 9, 308 and 444 on the opening lap. Lavis now under pressure from Ryan Campbell, and Campbell's through.
I wonder if that was the little melee we saw towards the back. We saw 3 cars go off there, so I wonder if that has something to do with that. Here's the replay of the start. Look at Campbell come across trying to cover, I think that was Luke Swan. But we're looking through the middle here. Patrick Klein running wide. He had, I didn't see who that was. That was the 225. That's Adam Jepson that was on his outside. And there's a car around in the background there too, and 3 others as well that went off into the gravel trap and into the fence. Here's Adam Jepson, and he... Yeah, I think Clean just outbroke himself, almost ran into the back of Craig Schultz and forced Jepson off as a result.
And just behind that was the carnage that resulted in that 15-second penalty as well. Here it is from Christensen. And down the inside, oh wow.
Yeah, he's completely missed the braking point, and he's taking that Snickwood, and I can't see that other car who we took with him.
Fitzroy Beaumont.
Oh no, it's Joe Baldwin as well, and Fitzroy Beaumont. So that's that's a Vermilion car on Vermilion car in the form of Beaumont. And this is a replay of Luke Swan. So I wonder if this is going to answer what happened to Ryan Campbell and Sam Chapman, because you got Campbell in front of us, or Swan actually running wide there. And you got Chapman to the right and Campbell just ahead. They're actually 3 wide just ahead of this is Lachlan Frank. He's going to get a no. Or is he? He's run wide up the hill. And he's just understeered off the road. By the looks of it, at the top of the hill.
Oh, hey! Watch it live, ladies and gentlemen. The elbows are out of the front.
So this is Sam Chapman. This is probably going to answer what happened to Chapman and Campbell. Campbell, they just broke out. They both outbroke themselves. Oh, and Chapman's actually made the wall.
And not for the first time tonight in Chapo's instance. too soon? No.
So Campbell's 3 wide with Mizomo and Muir. He's trying to go up the middle. Actually, you know what? He's so lucky he didn't collect Mark Gomes.
So the elbows are out bottom of screen at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that as we continue to watch replays here. Stephen Crediton at the front. Adam Hain leads Corey Lazarus, Mark Gomes, Sam Muir, Simon Mesmo, Luke Swan, Jake Jackson, Chook Fung Wong, Craig Schultz, Ben Woods, the top 10 at the moment. Schultz is under pressure from Woods, and I'm not sure exactly where we are on the track at the moment watching live. I can see Adam Lavis in there, so we're just ahead of him. So we'd be watching the battle between Russell Gander and Ryan Campbell. Campbell continuing his charge through the field. Or what you're seeing on screen there is Dave Oliver coming unstuck. And now we go back live to Ryan Campbell in 17th. Dave Oliver, Jamie Christensen on the tow road. Fitzroy Beaumont's back out there a lap down, so too Sean Rees. Sam Chapman's been to pit lane for a fast repair. He's in 36th. It's a case of going from 0 to 0 for Chapo. Here's Campbell on the subject of heroes. Big set down the inside of turn 1. Goes to 16th now. Displaces Russell Gander, who is third place as far as the open split is concerned. That's being led by Craig Schultz ahead of Patrick Klein at the moment. They sit 9th and 14th outright.
And being smart there, knowing he wasn't really racing Rain for a position in terms of class, and just kind of let him go. I've noticed, we saw it out of the last corner again, Rain really struggling with the rear of the car at the moment is Corey Bennett. Corey Bennett's just lost 2 spots. There he is on slow on the exit of the hairpin, so I wonder if he's outbroken himself as well into the hairpin just then. As this is the next group for Ryan Campbell to reel in, and this is the battle for 11th between Fever, Donaldson, Jepson and Clean.
So, Jepson having an okay run at the moment. The 225 is placed 13th, 12th in class. Klein and Campbell in behind him. Big gap actually from Klein back to Campbell, but Campbell will reel that in before the end of the race, I'm sure. I tell you what an effort it'd be for Campbell if he can get back to the top 10 and get the invert for the second race. Not sure. No, I mean, obviously we know what happened to him. He was 6th. He was 6th on the grid, so that's a better run than what he's had in previous weeks. He'll be disappointed to be this far down the order. It's lap 6. We're at 7 minutes 20. We've got 8 minutes 40 to go. So we're on target for what, 12 laps here in this race. So I just need to get clarification from upstairs, maybe 11. The boys will have the totem pole updated for me in a moment, I'm sure. I think it might be an 11-lap race this opener from here at Barber Motorsport Park. I could be wrong.
That would have been the goal for Ryan Campbell as soon as he's fired it off the road on that one down here at the hairpin. The goal for him would have been to get to 10th, because if he gets to 10th, he becomes pole for race 2. And as much as he's not as... Here comes Brendan Groach on Adam Lavis.
11 laps, nailed it. Happy with that. 124 is always tricky, to be honest with you, because it's not 85 and it's not a 90. You've got to try and work with numbers that suit the mathematics matrix, and the Zaculator a little bit better than 84. But anyway, 124.220 on that note. Fast level race for Corey Lazarus. We've picked up Brendan Grosh in 21st. There's a guy that'll find his way into the elite split at some point. I'm sure he's listed red at the moment because he hasn't been designated. A split is the only car on the field that falls under that banner tonight. Jamie Christensen back on pit road, has been there for 7-8 minutes now, so we reckon that he'll just start from the rear of the grid for the second race and hope for a better run there. Hain leads Lazarus, margin 0.8 of a second. Hain controlling this one well. Greg Heaney sits down in 32nd at the moment. We've picked up Whiskey Business Racing, and the Bowens entry looks good.
So just looking at Rain, he's already caught up to the back of that pack we were looking at earlier on, behind Craig Schultz. He's all over the back of Patrick Klein at the moment. Here he is. Well, Klein's there somewhere. There he is, as he's having some connection issues, and hopefully this is actually pretty difficult for Rain to get by him now, because he doesn't know where he is half the time. So we're side by side up ahead between Beaver and Donaldson, I think.
Yep, and Jepson and Klein in behind. Oh, it's gone exit stage left! Did he catch the curb?
I reckon.
Oh, and Campbell goes to 14.
I reckon what's happened there is because he had another. He wasn't on the track, and Campbell was in pretty deep through the chicane. I reckon Campbell's made contact in inverted corners. He's net coded him and turned him around. But what can he do? He can't see where he is, so you can't really put that on Rain at all.
No, agreed. Although we have got the relentless Sammy Stride in race control tonight, I'm pretty sure. So it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, blinking, you'll hit it all right, Josh. Thank you, appreciate that. Josh is multitasking tonight because he sent me a message on Discord, which I've only just seen. I'll get to that in a tick, mate. Thank you. He's commenting on our YouTube feed, and he's feeding the second of our broadcast screens through to Daniel Correa tonight, so that we can do picture-in-picture for you folks. When we take up replays, we can go live in the bottom corner. That was what happened to Klein.
Yeah.
Exactly what Daniel Battlefield said.
100%. Rain Campbell's net coded him around, but at the same time, at this point, Rain doesn't know where he is, so there's not much Rain can really do to avoid him. And it's 100%. The sim has thought Rain has hit him, even though Rain can't even see him.
Welcome back to Australia, ladies and gentlemen, where we are a first world country with third world internet. There's another box ticked off your bingo card tonight as well. We play bingo on a Thursday night, ladies and gentlemen, not because we've got the elderly tuning in, just because it's tradition. Daniel Battlefield and Zach Caven with you, bringing you Thursday night motorsport on the platforms. The Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Corey Lazarus, fastest lap of the race thus far. 1:24.216. That was only a couple of laps ago. We've started lap 9 of 11. And Haynes leaders 0.8 of a second and remaining steady.
So something I just noticed. I noticed it last lap as well, and I thought I couldn't actually believe my eyes when it happened this lap. The last 2 laps, Adam Hayne and Corey Lazarus have set identical lap times, like the exact same lap time. And it not only happened the lap just completed, it happened the lap previous to that as well. I lie about the previous lap. I must have been reading it wrong. But yeah, so there you go. Last lap, both 1:24.470s. Corey just it seems like he's trying to reel in Adam, but Hayne has the advantage.
And it goes back exactly to what you were saying, mate, about this racetrack not necessarily being easy for overtaking. But the pace remains steady. It remains in favour of Lazarus. But Hayne is somehow managing to keep him at bay. That buffer remains in his favour, although Hayne has closed up about 3 car lengths on this lap alone. We're reaching the business end. We're on the cusp of the crescendo, folks. 1:24.471 last time round. Both identical lap times from the 2 leaders here. 2 laps to go and just over 3 minutes on the clock, so we'll get back very much on time this time round. We won't use up all of the 16 minutes at our disposal here, but that's a good thing. We like it when we run to laps, not time. 1:23.981 for Corey Lazarus. He has upped the tempo here. He's ramped it up in style. He's pulled out the fastest lap of the race, and he wants a crack at Adam Hayne before this one is done.
What if he's just left it too late, though? Last lap was only 0.2 of a second difference. Yes, he's in the drop, but he's also in the dirty air. Yes, it's a cut car, and it doesn't have much aero, but I can guarantee you these cars still have dirty air. He's getting closer and closer. Hayne, massive slide through the first part of the chicane, and Lazarus is all over him.
That is going to help Lazarus, but did he get a compromised run out of the hairpin as a result? No, it doesn't appear to have affected him anyway. 0.4 the margin. This section of the racetrack, ultra critical to set yourself up for the main straight for the last lap, for those legitimate potential overtaking opportunities. Hayne will throw everything at this to try and get a race win. Corey Lazarus will throw everything at this to try and deny him of that. White flag in the air one more time around from Barber Motorsport Park in Birmingham, Alabama, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get onto the main straight, hit the gas and get going. Hayne, Lazarus, they've gapped Gomez. They don't have to worry about him. He's well clear of Muir, who's got Mesamo on his bumper at the moment, and so too Luke Swan.
Campbell up to 11th. He's 2/10 back, or 4/10 back from Woods. Jay Jackson, have we lost him? No, he's back. He's back. He's back.
Keep an eye on that, because if he does have any more packet loss, he's gone. That will have massive implications. Craig Schultz has Ben Woods, Rain Campbell, Eli Donaldson, Adam Jemson on his clacker at the moment. So someone in there is going to be disappointed, because 11th is a tough pill to swallow in an invert situation. Let's go. Lazarus on Hayne. Does he play the patient game here? Does he play the long game and focus on the bigger task at hand, which is race 2? Or does he have that win it or bin it mentality here and now? Hayne doing a good enough job to keep him at bay. Lazarus not taking any risks here. If he's close enough, he'll go for it, but he's not forcing the issue right now.
We saw through the chicane that Hayne seems to be more comfortable on the curves, and it's meaning that he's maintained the scat coming into the last overtaking opportunity now.
HTS Racing on top at long last in the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup. Adam Hayne is a race winner on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Got it done, held off Lazarus. Gomez comes through for third. Sam Muir's going to hold off Mesamo and Swan. Jackson comes home ahead of Fung Long. Schultz should come through in 9th, holding off Benny Woods, Eli Donaldson. Rain Campbell's fallen to 12th on the final lap. Wow! What about that? Twitchy foot, 10, 11 and 12. Ben Woods gets the invert.
I think Rain made a mistake going after Ben Woods for 10th. He saw him off the track, and that's what lost him the position to Eli Donaldson. We hopefully might get a replay of that after the race.
Ben Pedersen, Gordon Marshall, Mark Gomez, and then last week, if you don't mind, geez, who got the W last week? Corey Lazarus. So Adam Hayne makes it 5 race winners in 5 races to start the season as far as the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup is concerned. That was the move that cost Rain Campbell 11th. 5 different race winners so far in this post-Matty Dench era of the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup. Denchy the GOAT will grace us with his presence when we get to Brands Hatch, but in the meantime, it's an open playing field. Race results coming your way in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. Want to actually redirect you in the direction of the championship points as they stood coming into this round. We didn't get to cover that off coming into the night. Sorry, boys, I've thrown you a bum steer there. Simon Mesamo was the leader of the pro split ahead of Rain Campbell, margin 1 point, 167 played 166, and Mark Gomez and Sam Muir on 164. 3 points between 4 drivers. It is nuts this season in the Porsche Cup. 126 for Jared Knight, a HTS Racing alumni for, of course, Adam Hayne. 122 for Chuk Fung Wong, 112 for Jake Jackson, 109 for Ben Pedersen, 102 for Adam Hayne, and Aidan Luthwaite. 89 points makes up the top 10. The open split, Eduardo Zamora 159, Stephen Gallacher 138, 135 for Dale Atkins, 133 for Russell Gander, and 129 for Glenn Arnott. Kosh, Beaumont, Punter, Heaney and Shinkfield make up the top 10. And there are the results of race 1 for you. Adam Hayne from Corey Lazarus and Mark Gomez. And of course, we can tell you that Craig Schultz won the open split ahead of Russell Gander. And I will get the boys to scroll the page over so that we can tell you who was third in the open split, because Brendan Grosh hasn't been designated a split yet. But there's the top 20 on the screen there for you, and some stories to tell if we go over the page, boys, back to the bottom of the field there, because there was the retirement early on of JB Christensen starting rear of grid this race. That'll be well worth watching, let me tell you, given his I rating and his credentials and pedigree. We've just had Joe Baldwin and Sam Strife a little bit of the commentary box as well, so I'm going to them very quickly. Dave Oliver was 2 laps down, Sean Rees, Fitzroy Beaumont. There's a case of what might have been there for so many. Sam Chapman's got to find a way back into the fight as well. So there's a few people with redemption to be sought in the next 27 minutes or so. Sam Strider, quick update from race control. Good evening.
How was that, mate? That was pretty good.
Well, it was better than the stitch-up drive-by from you earlier. But how many penalties did you have to hand out, please?
You should know. It was come up on the stream, didn't it?
1 or 2. So that bugger all.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Everybody's really well behaved. That makes your job easier.
Well, let's not count our chickens before they hatch. We're about to have the feature race coming up tonight, so let's true. Hold your horses and see what happens now.
Didn't get a chance to get to Joe Baldwin. We'll get back to him shortly, mate. Good luck with race 2 from Race Control. We'll check it at the end. Thank you.
Roger. If she gets a bit stale, I'll come in and pull your leg again. Look
forward to it. Ben Woods and Craig Schultz from row 1. I'm not sure that was the response to the wording of that statement from him anyway. Chuk Fung Wong and Jake Jackson from 2. Luke Swan, Simon Mesmo from 3. Samuel, Mark Gomez from 4. Corey Lazarus and Adam Hayne from 5. 6 is Eli Donaldson and Ryan Campbell. 7, Adam Jepson and Shannon Fever. 8, Russell Gander, Corey Bennett. 9, Jonathan Akers, Lachlan Frank. 10, Benny Newen. And, of course, Brendan Grosh. 11, Adam Lavis, Jaden Wilcox. 12, Paul and Wilson and Wood. Patrick Klein, Joe Baldwin from 13. Dean Hunt, Eduardo Zamora from 14. Stephen Credit and Stephen Gallacher from 15. From 16, we're going all the way back to Dale Atkins, Greg Heaney. 17, Tristan Koshnik Wood. 18, Sam Chapman, Martin Walker. 19, Fitzroy Beaumont, Sean Rees. 20, Dave Oliver. And no, Jamie Christensen not starting on the grid tonight, it would seem. So down to 39. Race 2, round 4. Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup. Can we make it 6 different race winners to start the season? Let's find out. They ferret out across the main straight. 2 and 3 wide on the run to 1. Got to take a slight degree of caution on the run to 2. Oh, forget about it. Forget about it.
It's huge. Everyone
in the car park at turn 1.
Good luck trying to get through and it's still going. It's still going at 2.
I reckon Sam Stride might be about to pull the trigger on the safety car here if there's any more incidents. Beautiful start from Benny Woods leading the way. Trouble again down at the hairpin. Eli Donaldson's off the road. Woods leads from the front. Swans up 3 spots. Chuk Fung Wong, Jake Jackson, Simon Mesmo, Sam Muir, Craig Schultz down 5 spots. Corey Lazarus, Ryan Campbell, and Mark Gomez, the top 10 on the opening lap. But there is a fair degree of carnage to pick apart behind that, despite the fact that we've still got 38 cars running. Brett Bradbury hasn't started this race either, so we are down to 38.
It was a great start by both 9.5 cars in form of Swan and Mizomo, and one to forget for Schultz. They went either side, Swan having the inside, took advantage and took 3 spots, and now he's on the hunt after Benny Woods. Campbell already up to 9th as well. He started down in 12th. We saw that mistake at the end of race 1. He's on the back of Lazarus and has Goins behind him as Mizomo on the inside of Jackson.
Good move from Simon Mesmo, up into 4th place now. So the action unfolds at the front, in the middle, and at the rear of this field. We can tell you that Vinnie Newen's down 19 spots. Adam Hayne, the race 1 winner, down 26. Jonathan Akers down 17 spots. Joe Baldwin down 7. Brendan Grosh down 12. Russell Gander down 10. Eli Donaldson down 11. And that's just a small inkling of the carnage that unfolded on that opening lap. We'll pick it all apart for you as we go. 2 of 18 for you on the platforms of the GSRC. Race 2 from the Barber Motorsport Park circuit.
So we'll see if the strategy starts to play out now. Obviously we'll have a pit stop in this race, same as GT4 earlier on, as Ryan Campbell continues to try and hunt down Corey Lazarus. They got the 2 1.9 cars in front of them, Jake Jackson in 5th and Sam Muir in 6th at the moment, as Mizomo starts to pull away from this train.
Oh, jeez. Jackson was wide. That's opened the door up nicely. Not for him, but for Lazarus and Muir to pounce. Muir to 5th, Lazarus to 6th.
Here comes Campbell.
It's so easy to get out wide on that part of the racetrack as Ryan Campbell goes down the inside, and it goes from bad to worse for Jackson. Campbell to 7th. The car carries you that way under brakes, and if you get just a smidgen too wide, you're in the grass.
Gonna be on for the lead in a minute here. Luke Swan only 2/10 behind Ben Woods. Will he try and save fuel? Will he have a go at him? He's still got Chukfan in between himself and Mizomo, and they've got I don't want to say a decent gap, but they've got a gap as Muir loses out to Lazarus.
So Lazarus on a charge here. He wants another race win to complement what we saw from him last week, which was a smashing, crushing performance at the Algarve International Circuit. Next week, of course, off to Silverstone for you. Brendan Grosh with a penalty there as well, coming up on the bottom of the screen. Jake Jackson kicked up an off-track alert just momentarily, but he's okay. Luke Swan's in pursuit of Ben Woods at the moment for Twitchy Foot. And young Chuk Fung Wong's in there, not to be discounted either, as they make their way back around onto the main straight. 3 gone, 15 to go. The platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club, the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup, race 6 of the campaign, our second sprint round of the season. It's a beauty so far.
Look, Benny Woods, he missed the apex at turn 1. Look at Luke Swan, he's all over the back of him. Chook Fun Warren's been impressive though. He's caught back up to these two. He drops back on the opening lap. And now he's back on the back of them, and here comes Swan.
So Swan waits no longer to take his opportunity. He didn't wait for the second invitation. He took the first. Pounces on the inside. Compromised on the exit. Benny Woods gave him a little bit of a tap. That's going to invite Chook Fung Wong back into the fight. Simon Mesmo's in there leading the next train that consists of Corey Lazarus, Sam Muir and Rain Campbell. Big gap then back to Craig Schultz, Jake Jackson and Shannon Fever making up the top 10. Fever's been promoted up into the pro split, into the elite split. After starting the season in the open split. I reckon Craig Schultz will be on the receiving end of similar promotion in the coming weeks as well. He's having a great run inside the top 10, has been all night. Awesome work on the stream tonight is the advice coming in from Liam. He's just watched the GT4 race back. Awesome racing all round. He was stoked with P7 with his first GT4 race of the season. It was great to see you out there, mate. Thanks for tuning in as per usual. Post-race, going back and having a watch. Thanks for being part of the show as well. Down on to the main straight we go. Chook Fung Wong doing a very nice job of just sitting in there, biding his time, waiting for his moment, Daniel.
He is. Luke Swan starting to pull away a little bit. It was a great pass into the hairpin from Luke Swan. Pretty textbook. Parked it on the apex. We saw Benny Woods try to get the over-under on him on the exit, but there was a massive 9.5 Porsche in the way and he couldn't quite get the exit. As we look at it now from on board, Luke Swan pulls out pretty early, made his intentions very clear and broke just late enough to get the overlap. Cleared him, and here's the over-under attempt by Ben Woods, but perfectly parked on the apex was Luke Swan.
Indeed it was. Now we go back. Whoa! Sliding through. Chook Fung Wong opens the door. Bounces on that. Woods bobbled as well. That's going to give Luke Swan some breathing space as he goes to the front. Rezimov will want to pounce on that as soon as possible. We're still not sure, Denchi. Good evening to GSRC Porsche Cup royalty tuning in tonight. Hello, mate. Nice to have you in the house. What happened to Hayne on lap 1? We're about to find out as soon as we can file some replays here for you. But in the meantime, Mazzino out the inside goes to second. It's a 9.512, and Chook Fung Wong wants a piece of that as well. And so does Corey Lazarus sitting there in fifth. It's a one hell of a show at the front end of town right here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Lap 6, third race distance at the end of this time by. And Sam Muir is ready to pounce. He wants a piece of this pie as well. So does Ryan Campbell, who's found his way to the back of the train in 7th. But the problem is, Luke Swan is gone. The margin is 1.8.
Here we go. Fong.
Chook Fung Wong's going to be hung out to dry there. And maybe twice. Through goes Woods and Lazarus. And here comes Muir, can't get it done.
So I think Chook got a bit spooked because Benny Woods was having a massive moment in the chicane last time around, and I think that's why he had his moment, and as a result, Nzomo's gone through to second, but they are sticking with him at the moment, and it'll be, I think, a matter of time before Corey Lazarus decides to pull a move on, and this is Adam Hayne. So what happened? Oh, there was contact in front. That was between Lazarus and Mark Gomes, and Hayne nowhere to go.
So poor Adam Hayne from hero to zero there. It was just, well, I mean, we were following the incidents at turn 1 and 2. We didn't see what happened at 3. Now, Chook Fung Wong, trouble gone! In goes Ben Woods! Fung Wong's gone with him! And they're both out of business as far as outright honours are concerned. Wong's got another nudge on the way through! Unbelievable drama unfolding here. Fung Wong's going all rallycross in the Porsche. Gets back onto the black stuff, but has dropped to 14. Look at this.
So Chook's up the inside here, but he hasn't really been given space, and he gets caught on the curb, and it's... I think he had a moment, but we didn't have the best camera angle. I think...
Let's go on board with Fung Wong if we can, boys. Bang!
Oh, that's a massive hit. That's a massive hit on the rejoin.
So
here's on board. So I think He squeezed on the curb, and as the cars come off the curb, Chooks had a moment, and he's put him into Benny Woods. And then the rejoin here, Gomes is alongside one of the 1-9 cars, and he's had nowhere to go.
So that's 2 contenders out of business. And Craig Schultz goes up to 7th, Shannon Fever to 6th, Ryan Campbell to 5th, Sam Muir to 4th, Corey Lazarus, Simon Mesmo. Now only a 2-car fight for 2nd. Muir and Campbell fighting over the minors. Luke Swan's disappeared 1.4 to the good. Shannon Fever under pressure from Craig Schultz for 6th. Jackson, Gomes, Bennett and Jepson make up the top 11. Wilson, Hunt, Fung Wong. Oh, I tell you what, that's really disappointing. I think Benny Woods.
I was going to say, I think Benny Woods is done because he's
in the pit lane.
He's in the pit lane for 1 minute and 20, so his night is done. But Lazarus now has a clear run at the 295 cars up ahead. He's about half a second off the back of Mazoma at the moment, who is also catching Swan. 25.04 for Swan last lap, 24.6 personal best for Mazoma. And Corey Lazarus, the fastest lap of the race, at 24.2 last time around.
Stephen Credit and Adam Hayne to pit lane now as well. Adam Lavis was in there at the end of lap 3, so too Brenda Grosh. Joe Baldwin at the end of lap 6, Russell Gander at the end of lap 5. Those two, Credit and Hayne at the end of lap 7. Everybody else continuing on. Corey Lazarus, as you said, fastest lap of the race. No further action on Ben Woods with Chuk Fung Wong. We'll get Sam Stride's adjudication on why a little bit later on, but yeah, a racing incident for mine, and race control have viewed it the same way. Drama aplenty here. Benny Woods, shocker of a season thus far. It's just gone from bad to worse. He's had no luck in the Spreyton Cider Porsche Cup, a DNF in race 1 of round 1. He didn't get to start the 2 races in round 2. He was 11th last week in Portimao. This was a potential night to turn it around. He was in one of the better positions he's been in all season, and it's all blown up and gone to custard for him, which is really unfortunate. But there is so much excitement unfolding here at the front. Luke Swan, Simon Mesmo, 1.4 the margin, a flurry of pit activity in behind for Chuk Fung Wong, Eli Donaldson and Dale Atkins diving to the lane. But it's a 9-5, 1-2, and a real chance to add to the winners list here.
So it's roles reversed at the front last lap around. Swan did the fastest lap of the 3, a personal best for 24.2, 24.3 for Mez, and 24.5 for Lazarus. As we're watching Jepson, so this is the battle on the edge of the top 10 for now. We have started pit stop, as it looks like Corey Bennett looking at Jake Jackson just ahead for P9. No, nothing happening there though. As we go back to Campbell now, who's on the back of Muir. And Muir seems to be struggling for pace. He hasn't gone with the top 3. He's about 1.7 back from Lazarus, and he's got Ryan Campbell all over him at the moment.
Oh, this is exciting stuff. Ryan Campbell 5th. Sam Muir 4th. So much to play out with regards to pit stops, but this time by the line is half race distance, boys. 9 gone, 9 to go. Sam Stride's jumped in from race control. There's a couple of incidents to pick apart there, mate, but obviously no further action on Chuk Fung Wong and Benny Woods. It looked like an unfortunate just racing incident for mine.
Yeah, so Benny had him up on the curb a little bit. He was on the ropes, and Mr. Wong come out of the corner there. He's a bit squirrely, but then Ben's come across his nose to grab the apex, so he I think he might have expected him not to be there, but it was it was just one of those hard racing circumstances. Wasn't necessarily 100% anyone's fault. Like, it might have been a little bit more on Ben, but not enough to give him a penalty for sure.
And what else have you made of the early stages of this race? Unfortunately, plenty to pick apart on the opening lap.
Yeah, turn 1, turn 2 is pretty unfortunate. It was just some silly moves. There was like low percentage moves, I like to call them. But hey, we had the same thing in race 1. That's what I call them. Yeah, it was a little bit silly, but yeah, we get that. And there was an incident on lap 5, which was just avoidable contact. You know, that's all it was.
Unfortunately, it looks like night done for Lachlan Frank as well in the 072 for Vermilion Esports. Joining Benny Woods in retirement, Stephen Crediton's a lap down. We're still waiting for a flurry of pit stops here so far, folks. In top 19 yet to stop, so too Tristan Koch and Fitzroy Beaumont, so too Dave Oliver and Martin Walker. With 10 laps down, we've got 8 to go. But yeah, mostly everybody seems to be behaving themselves, which is a sigh of relief for all and sundry. Not too much overtime for you tonight, Strider.
No, mate, to be fair to the boys, like Barber's a really tough track with a lot of blind corners, a lot of deviation in the elevation.
Hang on, mate, hold the phone. Lazarus to the inside. To second, gets by Simon Mesmo. Lazarus on the charge. They've closed the gap to Luke Swan to 1.05 seconds. So Lazarus is on a charge. Adam Hayne, fastest lap of the race, 1:24.148. Go on, Striding.
Yeah, a lot of deviation in the ground at Barber, blind corner, so it is a very, very difficult track. So the boys are doing a good job, and it does owe itself to some passing, being nice and wide. But yeah, the guys are doing a good job. These things are hard to drive.
Can we keep up the presence? I mean, the numbers still hitting mid-40s in terms of who was in the server. Yeah, we only had 40 start the night, but as far as race 1 was concerned, but still, extraordinary numbers in the early part of the season in this championship.
Yeah, mate, it's a pretty big call to have that many sort of midway through the season coming into towards the end of the year. Well, I guess we'll see as we draw in closer to Christmas how many people miss them from break-up parties and things like that.
Looks as though Patrick Klein might have succumbed to that packet loss issue that he was having earlier as well, because he was a non-starter in that second race. We ride with Ryan Campbell chasing Sam Muir. These guys, here's the exciting thing for mine, Daniel Betterfield. Stridey, stay with us, because if anything happens, we know that you'll disappear, but if not, we can lean on you for some insights as well. But Daniel Betterfield, looking at this, I see Luke Swan being caught by Corey Lazarus. I see Simon Mesmo latching on and going with them. Sam Muir was only 1.3 seconds away. We could still have, at the end here, a race in 5.
For sure, but look at the replay of Corey Lazarus. He's just gone a little deep. That's fine. That's normal line through turn 2. You want to double apex it, so yeah, completely normal line as he's now within 3/10 of Luke Swan for the lead of the race, but all top 5 cars all in your frame there briefly before we come through the chicane, and all top 5 cars are definitely within a shot of the podium, because the battling between Lazarus and Mazomo's brought Muir and Campbell back into this race, as well as Swan well off the road.
I was going to say, if there was any more carnage on lap 1, I was thinking that our mate Stridey might have thrown the safety car just to pull them back in the line, but didn't have to. They sorted it out on track, and that's all that matters. We watch Corey Lazarus chase Luke Swan. 9.5 versus Blackout OPR here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're inside 10 minutes to go. We're inside 6 laps to go. Surely the critical number isn't far away with regards to when these guys will transit the lane for a splash and dash, which could be the defining moments of the car race. A race in 5 at the front. By gee, this Porsche Cup racing has been off the charts so far this season. Lazarus to the inside. Luke Swan, to his credit, gives him racing room, but was compromised on the exit. New race leader, last week's round winner, back in front.
Luke's really struggling, but by the looks of it, with the front of the car, it looks like it's understeering absolutely everywhere. A lot of understeering too. It's got Corey Lazarus close enough to make that move into the hairpin, and Lazarus already pulled half a second on him.
Gone.
Look out here for the undercut. Look out here for the undercut from Mr. Swan. He might go in, jump some front tyres on there and come out and see what he can do.
No, he won't take tyres because tyres aren't taken at the same time as fuel in this car.
Oh, one of those cars, eh?
Yeah, one of those. Yeah. Agreed. One of those.
Yeah.
They're all going on again, boys. So 13 done. It's at least a 14-lap stint for them.
I'm surprised that either Mez or Swan didn't pit in, because I feel like Mez has better pace than Swan at the moment. And I feel like Swan's just going to hold up his teammate now by staying out. And look how wide he is. He's got so much understeer. There's Luke Swan, and he's dropping time hand over fist.
This could be the writing on the wall for Corey Lazarus here and now at Barber Motorsport Park. He arrived back in the championship wanting to make a statement. He proved to everybody last week that he hasn't lost anything. In fact, if anything, he's improved in Porsche circles in recent times. That was an emphatic victory last week. It was a very controlled opening race to finish second behind Adam Hayne. He didn't take any risks. Has let this race be the point of the night in which he does all the talking. And he's got a 0.85 second advantage on the 2.95 SimSport entries. Is this the lap in which they dive to the lane for a splash and dash? Let's wait and see. Keep your eyes peeled. Left of screen, folks. Now right of screen. Do they peel off? No, they go again. Surely they're not trying to one-stop this. Not trying to go through the race without a transit of the lane. 4 laps to go, or 7 minutes. It'll be 4 laps.
At what point does Denji, sitting back at home looking at Corey leading the Porsche race, does he make a resurgence to make a point?
He's coming to Brands Hatch in a couple of weeks' time. I cannot wait to be here. Thursday, November 7th, straight after Oaks Day at Flemington, folks. It'll be fantastic viewing here on the platforms of the GSRC in a fortnight's time against, as Denji goes up against Lazarus and Co. at a circuit that he absolutely loves. Therefore, everybody should see that as, you know, a credible threat with regards to their chances that night, because he can carve them up on circuits that he doesn't necessarily like, let alone ones that he absolutely loves. So we're looking forward to seeing the great Matty Dench, the benchmark of the club,
Adam Haynes,
the master of the craft and trade, back on the platforms in a couple of weeks' time. Adam Hayne.
Adam Hayne, he's gone
he's
round
trying
the
to come to
long
pit lane. Let's have a look at this. He's lost it. The drift work on the inside. Oh no. Just no control. Nothing he could have done about that one. He's come in and parked it this time round. That'll be him done for the night. His second stop. You don't need 2 stops in this caper. And after the first stop is, well, here we go. Simon Mesmo goes again, but the other 4 are in. Lazarus, Swan, Muir, Campbell, all on pit lane. So too Fever, Schultz. Jackson and Hunt were both off track momentarily there. Wait to see if Gomez, Jepson, Jackson and Hunt and Wood and Sam Chapman all come in this time by. Chapo will be playing the fuel game as well. Out they go. Bugger all time in the box. 5.17 seconds. Lazarus, Swan, there's nothing in that. Have a look at this. Look at Swanee. Trying to go around the outside of Lazarus to turn 2. So now it's on. This is the race right here and now. Swan has got a second on Muir, who's seen off the threat of Gomez, Campbell and Jepson. So it's a race for the front. Oh, Mesimo's out of fuel. Can you believe that? Another sting in the tail. Simon Mesimo's night is done. In the cruelest possible of ways. He's got his numbers wrong.
He's forgotten to pit. That is what's happened. As Lazarus and Swan are side by side.
Oh, you're kidding me. Mesimo's done. He won't be getting that one back to the line.
Swan's got a run here. Swan's got a run.
He has. He's up around the outside. No. Tucked back in. Lazarus is going to have to be on his game. His A game here and now to see off the threat of Swan, who wants a crack at this. Muir's there. Campbell and Gomez are trying to latch back on as well. Any one of these men cough and they're going to lose ground. Mesimo drops to 11th. He's trying to lift that thing back to the lane, but he'll rue what might have been. He's either forgotten to stop or just thought that he could get round an extra lap. Unbelievable drama here. And I can't wait to see what Daniel Benefield says should Simon Brett present to the booth to have a chat to his post-race tonight.
There's no way he would have forgotten to pit. There's no way he would have thought he could have made the extra lap. He's definitely forgotten to pit and just not followed everyone else in. Swan, Lazarus is defensive.
Yeah.
Swan's not really close enough, but he's trying to go around the outside here.
Oh, look at this. Lazarus will get across and cover it off, but can Swan get the run and throw it down the inside? Win it or bid it, Swanee. A chance to be the 6th different race winner of the season awaits here. Or Lazarus is going to be the first repeat winner of the season. That's all that's on the line here. That's it. That'll do it, I think. Lazarus will cough and splutter his way to the line if he has to, but he'll skip clear now and give himself some breathing space. So that was the defining moment for Swanee. He'll have to settle for second. It's a case of what might have been for his teammate, who has got back to pit lane, but he's dropped a lap in the process.
It's a case of the first stint really for Luke Swan, the understeer through the chicane. We saw him struggling towards the end of the first stint and just drop a pile of time, and now it's cost him a shot at the win. That's Martin Walker over to the right, letting our leaders by.
White flag in the air. Oh, this is awkward. Quickly. It is very awkward, especially because third is up for grabs. Ryan Campbell's all the way over the back of Sam Muir like there's no tomorrow. Luke Swan's hanging on for dear life, but Muir's got to be more worried about Campbell at the moment, who goes to the outside, to the end of the back straight. Campbell right around the outside. Muir will hope to get the run out of the left hand of the double apex left, and he does so. Campbell had a little bit of a ball. Muir should hold on to third from there. Jackson is fifth. Gomes is sixth. Sam Chapman has not stopped, nor has Jake Jackson, nor has Mark Gomes. There's a talking point in all of this for you. Those boys, particularly Chapman, up 29 spots now. Chapman's driven from 35th to 6th. 35th to 6th and hasn't stopped. You are bloody kidding me. Chapo, another masterclass in fuel strat. He's doing Dench-like things on a Thursday night. But Corey Lazarus at the top end of town, 2 seconds to the good here. And Campbell, he's put two wheels in the grass, and that might just about put pay to any chance he had here of getting Muir or Swan as well. But Corey Lazarus makes history as far as the Porsche Cup for Spreyton Ciders is concerned in Turn 4 of 2024 by being the first repeat winner of the season and gets the job done at Barber. Round honours to him as well. Fastest lap of the final lap, 1:24.005. On in for second, held off Muir and Campbell. Jackson comes home fifth. Sam Chapman, 35th to 6th. You are kidding me. And no stop. No stop also for Jake Jackson. Mark Gomez has copped and slutted his way to the line, but he's lost spots in the process on the final lap. There he is. He's getting gobbled up left, right and centre. Comes across the line in 11th. Lost out to Fever, Schultz, Bennett and Donaldson made up the top 10. Sam Chapman, 29 positions gained. Take a bow, my friend. What about that? In behind them, Adam Jepson was 12th, Adam Lavis 13th, 14th for Dean Hunt, 15th for Paul Wood, then Nick Wood, Dale Atkins, Sean Rees, Eduardo Zamora and Paul Wilson. Joe Baldwin held off Chook Fang Wong, who just edged out Dave Oliver, 22nd, 23rd, Jonathan Akers, Greg Heaney, Jaden Wilcox, Smitty Newen, Russell Gander, Stephen Gallacher, Brendan Grosh had a lunge but couldn't get there, and he finished up 30th. Adam Hayne, a case of what might have been in 31st. Had to transit the lane a second time there, unfortunately. Tristan Kosh in for 32nd. Simon Mesamo 33rd and down 27 spots. Walker finished a lap down. Fitzroy Beaumont was 2 laps out of business there. Stopped on lap 16. That was his night done. Stephen Credit and Ben Woods and Lachlan Frank, the 38. Bloody hell. It just gets better and better, doesn't it, Daniel?
I was worried about tonight being, it's such a hard track to pass. I was worried about the racing we were going to get, but it turned itself on once again. We've got a great battle for the lead between the top 5, and which quickly became top 4 as Luke Swan got a post-race drive-through. He's dropped to 20th.
Are you kidding me? The drama continues post-race. And it continues for 9-5 Sim Sport. First it was Mesmo running out of juice. Now Luke Swan's dropped to 20th. And that's a 45-second post-race penalty. That's 45 seconds. Because he was second behind Muir, was he not? Sorry, yes. Ahead of Muir behind Lazarus. He was second. Yes. That's a 45-second post-race penalty. But that is hard to fathom, really. That's diabolical. That is, wow. That is a monster of a penalty.
That'll be an instant limit penalty. He did lose 2 seconds on the last lap, so I wonder if he got an off-track or ran a bit wide, and that was enough to tip Luke Swan over. Because we saw he was being a bit liberal with the track limits throughout the race, particularly when he was racing Lazarus. So I'd say that's that for Luke Swan. So it promotes Muir and Campbell to the podium, and as a result, it's going to be, I think Sam Muir might be the championship leader now.
Yeah, that's exorbitant. I was trying to find the right bloody adjective to describe the enormity of that penalty, but it's exorbitant. It really feels harsh for Luke Swan. He loses 18 spots as a result. Yeah, 9-5 through what might have been there. Geez, there's some stories to pick apart in all of that, Daniel. But Corey Lazarus, again, the cream of the crop, he is mounting a strong case for a championship tilt here.
It was the perfect race, really. He didn't rush the moves, despite a track where it was difficult to overtake. He made the moves when he needed to. He waited for the runs and the mistakes of the drivers in front of him. And as a result, he claims his second win of the season, and it took us 6 races and 4 weeks before we had our first repeat winner in Porsche Cup.
We've got El Presidente standing by. We've got the Whiskey Business Racing head honcho, Greg Heaney, standing by as well. He's proudly brought to you by Bowens, of course. Joe Baldwin is proudly brought to you by, the pride of Western Australia, as well as all the great supporters of the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, because he is El Presidente, ladies and gentlemen, the ringleader of what is a very organised circus at the moment. Just extraordinary scenes here at Barber Motorsport Park tonight. The gloves were off in race 2. That was an absolute beauty. It didn't disappoint. Luke Swan, Sam Muir and Ryan Campbell were 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Muir and Campbell promoted 2nd and 3rd now. Jackson to 4th. Sam Chapman's charge therefore becomes plus 30. Let's just highlight that for a second. From 35th on the grid. Shannon Fever goes to 6th. Craig Schultz to 7th. He'll be in the elite split next week. There's no doubt about that. Corey Bennett, Eli Donaldson and Mark Gomez now the top 10. And Gomez, I mean, that's unfortunate for him. He was one of 3 in the top 6 that were trying to do the single stop, the go to woe no stop strat, and it backfired on the last lap as he coughed and spluttered to the line and lost 3 spots in the process, maybe 4. Jetson, Lavis, Hunt, Wood, Atkins, Rees, Zamora and Wilson. Rate of attrition wasn't too bad, all things considered. Fitzroy Beaumont, Stephen Crediton, Ben Woods and Lachlan Frank. Geez, Benny Woods was dead set unlucky. Chook Fung Wong managed to fight back in all of that to 22nd, just behind Joe Baldwin. Good evening, El Presidente.
Hey, good evening, Zach. Good evening, guys. How are you?
Very well, mate. I didn't get a chance to chat to you after race 1. Geez, it's been a frantic night.
Oh, rough night at the office, mate, to be honest.
For you? Yeah.
Yeah, had an average launch start in race 1 and got pole-axed at turn 1. Drove from last up to, I can't even think what it was, 25th or 6th or 7th or something.
26th, Joe.
Yeah, and then in race 2, I managed to miss all the calamity at turn 1, and then, yeah, I don't even know who it was. Someone rejoined, and I got dumped entering turn 2, so that sort of curtailed what was a good night. And then, yeah, I think actually Greg and I, we were having a pretty good battle there, and somebody comes sailing in 2 wide. Actually, there was 4 of us in enough room that took up 2 cars, and it just created chaos. And I got a bit frustrated at that point and pointed out with the button that people need to just race a little bit cleaner. But once we got up and going, it's look. This circuit lends itself to really aggressive, hard racing because it's very difficult to pass here. But when you can set up a move and execute it, it's really rewarding. So I had a lot of that, starting last in by turn 2 in both races. But overall, I think for no practice, I was pretty good with my overall pace. I was only a second off Corey's lap times, and he's a bit of a gun in these things. So yeah, great practice. Good practice night.
Indeed. Simon Mesmo is apparently blaming the crew chief for the fact that he ran out of fuel tonight, sacking him. Although I would strongly suggest that he reconsiders the the way in which he approached that, Daniel Benefield, your teammate. I know you'll love stitching him up a little bit later on, but really, to be fair, there were only a select handful of people that were ever going to make it full distance. You could only stretch the friendship so far on that one, and I reckon he was just taking the mickey a little bit.
Yeah, look, I've never been known for saving fuel. I don't know how they done it. I had to take 8 litres. I think Woodsy took 7, and Mav, who like that guy can live for a week on the smell of an oily rag. He needed 6 litres to get home. And yeah, but not me. I'm a little bit thirsty with the right foot. I think I need to put the right foot on a diet. I might be right, but look, they're a great challenge, these cars, and a track like this, like I say, it's you get to the end of it and you're like so frustrated, you're just like, but you look back on it and it's actually real good fun, hard, aggressive racing, which is what you want to do. And I mean, in race 1 there was a young bloke that I hadn't raced him before, and we raced really, really hard through to the flag. His name slips me just at the moment, but yeah, it doesn't matter sometimes. You don't have to be racing for the win. You can be racing anywhere through. Dean Hunt it was. He finished 13th in race 2. Him and I had a cracking race in race 1. So, yeah, and it was for like 27th or whatever it was. So yeah, fun night at the office, but time for a shower and bed for work tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, but before you do go, a couple more comments from you, Trucker. And there's a less than flattering moment for you caught on camera right there. Just lit the rear up. Porsche doing Porsche things out of the double apex left at turn 5. Interesting night at the office. Quite possibly, a drop round when we get to that point of the season, depending upon how the next 3 play out. But it's interesting, isn't it, from a committee standpoint? Let's not focus too much about the personal performance there, because as I say, not a terrible amount to ride home, about 20 outside the top 20 tonight, and a lot of the open split guys finding their way into the 20, but a battle of survival, and you managed to do that. From a committee standpoint, though, you must be extremely impressed with the fact that we got to week 4 and we're still seeing fields of 40 plus in the Porsches.
Crazy stuff. Absolutely great. So proud of where the club is at the moment. When I took the helm 18 months ago now, whatever it was, but over a year ago, I'm not exactly sure exactly what it was, but to see where we've come to now, I'm incredibly proud of the whole team behind the scenes. Greg Heaney, he's part of the committee crew now, and Greg Favell and Woodsy and the 2 Sams, Chapo and Strider, and there's a whole team of guys there that all put in a huge amount of effort in the background, and without those guys stepping up and doing what they do, we just couldn't do. We wouldn't be able to all the broadcasts. And I'll say it every week. It's like your weakest link is how strong the chain is, and we've got a good bunch of guys now steering the ship, and it's shown with the numbers. We were at Iowa last night while the Big Bang of V8 Invitational was on. We still got 40 cars nearly. So that's pretty strong numbers, considering one of the biggest races in the Australian iRacing landscape was being broadcast last night. So, certainly proud of where we're heading in the future.
Exactly. There's a comment there right at screen that I'll get back to a little bit later on, and I'll have a chat with my producers and directors off there about that. But what I will say is, if I can read the graphics, and I'm only a step up from Stevie Wonder, and I'm only watching on a 20-inch monitor, then there might be a little bit of an issue there. Let's continue on. Sam Chapman slid into the booth. We do need to have a chat to him in just a few moments, but just because we need to let Joe go. Joe, Trucker, tomorrow night, talk us through what we can look forward to with the Radicals. Mountain Men's going to keep you busy on Saturday night, and of course, get your thoughts on the next stop for the Porsches, which is Silverstone next Thursday night.
Silverstone for me. I'll hit up Silverstone first. It's a bit of a bogey track for me. I do love the place. I love racing around there, but my God, I can never seem to find any pace at that place. But hey, I thought that about Monza last season, and I almost had the fastest lap overall. So I might even do a bit of practice. I do love Silverstone. I've just never been good there. It doesn't matter what the car is. But Mountain Men Saturday night, we got the Xfinity cars. So.
Yes.
The last time we ran something like that on the mountain, we had big numbers, but a lot of people were complaining the car was too difficult. So hopefully we'll get a bunch of guys in there. They're a lot of fun. They're probably more enjoyable than the current Cup cars, to be honest. They've got more power and they move around a bit. They're difficult to drive, but tomorrow night's going to be one not to miss with the Radical SR8s at Chicago Street Circuit, racing kicking off at 8:30, and you can watch Mr. Fodiatis and myself. Are you with us tomorrow night, are you, Zach?
No. So I am in Sydney tomorrow night, Trucker. The concert of the year. I'm off to see Amy Baby Shark. She says hi, by the way, and looking forward to that immensely. I'll be back with you guys after the Real World Motor Racing season wraps up for me at the conclusion of week 6 of our calendar. So I'll be back for the final 4 rounds of the campaign.
All right, very nice. Look forward to you joining us there. But Chicago Street Circuit with high downforce aero cars and a lot of bumps. It's one not to be missed. There's going to be, I'm predicting just a little bit of chaos with the bumps and the curbs and stuff there. So if you enjoy watching them, or even if you enjoy racing them, it's certainly going to be one not to miss tomorrow night.
Indeed. It's going to be good fun. Thank you, mate. And looking forward to catching up with you next week. We know you're working long days at the moment. We know you're also juggling your presidential duties with us when you're not working in the real world. So we appreciate all the work you're putting in on the other side of the Nullarbor. Go get some sleep, rest up. We'll catch up next week. And by the way, send me a message or call me at some point. We'll work out when I can slide in and have a chat for the GSRC podcast, because I know we didn't get to do that this time around. But if you haven't seen it 2 yet already, folks, it is up online via our YouTube page as well. Joe, thanks as always, mate.
Thanks, Zach.
There he is, Trucker Joe Baldwin. Daniel Benefeld, I need a breath here, so I'm going to let you fire the first questions in the direction of the 194 Sam Muir, who's joined us in the booth. Fresh off 3rd in race 1, and if it's +4, that means he started 7th, which means it was 3rd in race 2, which means it was 4th in race 1, and a pretty consistent night at the office. You've got a feeling that he's going to be the championship leader at the end of tonight, and he's racking up the championship lead by way of consistency, not so much race wins.
That's right, Zach. And if my maths is correct, bear in mind this is very quick maths, so it may not be correct. I believe Sam Muir will be our championship leader, but he hasn't won a race yet. Sam, was it a bit of a struggle tonight? You were at the front, but not quite challenging for the win like you normally are.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a challenge for us tonight. Didn't quite have the pace of those guys right at the front, so yeah, just sort of had to just sit behind and wait for some, see if they made some mistakes. But yeah, the quality at the front of the field at the moment is just too high. There aren't too many boys making mistakes, and yeah, I think consistency is only going to get me so far this season. I think if you want to win this championship, you've got to be winning races, so that'll be the challenge for us moving forward.
So you've got to be winning races, though. But I mean, we've only just had our first repeat winner tonight with Corey Lazarus picking up race 2. So we've had 5 different winners in 6 races, and I think what's more amazing to me is the fact we have had 5 race winners so far this season, and your name hasn't been one of them.
Yeah, hopefully we can change that sooner rather than later. Yeah, we'll see how we go. Certainly makes it for a bit of a change in the GSRC Porsche Cup over the last few years. Probably beat Denchi 6 and everyone else nil by this stage usually. But so it's refreshing, and it's funny actually. You know, we've lost the best of the best when it comes to the Porsche Cup in this league, but the quality at the front of the field I feel is at an all-time high. It's harder than ever to get a race win, so I'm just enjoying being somewhere up the front. Hopefully one night it's going to be our night and we'll be able to take advantage of it. I was really spewing about Sebring because we put it on pole and had the pace to win that race, but ended up bottling it with a couple of laps to go, made too many mistakes and dropped back to P3, so that might come back to hurt us, but yeah, we're thereabouts, and hopefully a win isn't too far away.
I want to talk about not so much the time of the car. Obviously, the iRacing build at the start of this season changed how the clutch and the variants of the clutch. Have you felt that that's really changed the start procedure of the car a lot?
Yeah, it certainly has for me. I've lost all confidence when it comes to starting these things and getting them off the line. I just have not been able to, get in a routine or get a feel for it just yet. So yeah, I'm back to the old rookie ways of just full brake and full acceleration, just waiting for the green light to let it rip. So, and it is costing us. You know, we're dropping a place or two off the start in most races. So that's definitely an area that I've got to put a bit more time into. Get some cracking.
What doesn't help that is normally just get qualified and do Swan, and then the 295 guys just have a take Lucas this morning. So that doesn't just situation trying to gain places on that one.
Yeah, 100% right. Thank God Mez hasn't figured out how to quali just yet. His race pace is, I think he's got us all covered when it comes to race pace and consistency. He's just unreal, he doesn't make mistakes. So if he figures out how to get some one lap pace in quali, then we're all going to be in a bit of trouble.
I think he needs to work out how to put fuel on the car first before he sorts out his quali pace. I think the fuel in the car might be a bit more of a requirement for the races to come.
Yeah, 100%. I wasn't too sure what was going on there. I saw him go the extra lap, and I was like, oh, yep, fair enough. Done a bit of fuel saving, and then, went by him, saw him in the grass on the next lap. So that was really unfortunate, but yeah, I know his pain. Obviously, in the GT4 race earlier tonight, had a bit of a hardware failure. So yeah, it's never nice when your software or your hardware let you down and a good result slips through your fingers.
Quickly touching on GT4, we saw a couple of good races there. So hardware, we were wondering what it was, whether it was hardware, whether it was internet for you in race 2, because we saw you pull off to the side. So it was hardware that cost you a good result there.
Yeah, unfortunately, had a big blink and then came back, and everything was working except for the gears. I was just stuck in gear, so tried pulling over, resetting the wheel, but that didn't do it. So just put it on the tow rope, and then magically, of course, that's when the gears started to work again. So went back out and just got a few more points, but yeah, that's going to hurt from a championship perspective in the GT4s, unfortunately.
It was from, speaking of the championship for GT4, obviously Johnny Merritt not having a great night either. Linsell had an okay night, had a bit of a moment in race 2, but Chapo getting the decent result in race 1 and then the win in race 2 will surely increase his championship lead. How do you feel going into the next round, which not sure what the next round is? Algarve, Portimao for GT4. Let's two birds with one stone. So you got Algarve, GT4, Silverstone for the Porsche Cup. How do you feel going into both of those races or both of those tracks next weekend or next week?
Yeah, it definitely helps having had just the round in the Porsche Cup at Portimao a couple of weeks ago, so that's nice and fresh in our memory. So yeah, really looking forward to getting around there in the GT4s, but yeah, the double header over in the UK for the Porsches over the next couple of weeks, not really looking forward to those. Definitely not my strong suit. So yeah, that win's going to be a little bit further away for us, and it'll just be sort of damage limitation over the next couple of weeks. And I hear Denchi's back for Brands Hatch to show us how it's all done. So that's going to be really spicy, that one, because there's a few guys who want to take their potentially one and only chance to knock him off for a win.
Very nicely done from you, by the way, taking the lead on that one, Daniel Benefeld. But I'm going to jump in here very quickly because I think there's some territory that needs to be explored with regards to what Sam's just said there, mate. Damage limitation, particularly given how tough and hard fought this championship has been so far. luckily you're in a position where you've got, you know, 2 legitimate drop rounds still at your disposal. You haven't burned any of the rounds yet. Just looking at the championship points, I mean, 2 third-round finishes so far. You were just off the podium last week. You're well placed. It seems as though you're not necessarily looking forward to Silverstone or Brands Hatch, whether they're bogey tracks or not, but it's important to get through them and set yourself up for a run to potentially championship glory in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, 100%, and it's a bit different from where we were this time last season. I think I'd missed 2 of the first 4 rounds, so yeah, last season it just felt like I was playing catch-up forever until those drop rounds were eventually applied at the end of round 7 or 8, and then we ended up, coming out of it looking pretty good and back in contention. So yeah, much nicer feeling this season to have banked some good points over these first 4 rounds, and yeah, it is nice knowing that we're going into those bogey tracks, and if we do happen to have an off night, then it's not going to be the end of the world.
And let's say that you probably burnt 1 round as far as GT4 drop rounds are concerned on the back of that issue this evening. What are we thinking there with regards to how tough fought that championship's also been so far this season? Are you a chance of being a championship winner in both GT4 and Porsche on a Thursday night at the end of week number 10? Could you do the Thursday night double?
It's certainly the aim, but definitely easier said than done. Both championships are probably of the highest quality that they've ever been in my time at the club, so whoever walks away with both of those championships, or either of them, is definitely going to have earned it. But yeah, GT4s has been an absolute blast. It's great to have Shawnee Linsell back in the sim. Yeah, love going wheel to wheel with him. Chapo hasn't dropped off at all. Those Beamers were super quick in the first couple of rounds, and the Porsches sort of come back over the last couple. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting season in the GT4s, definitely. But yeah, looking forward to it.
I'm not sure if you saw the incident a couple of weeks ago, but I know you love going wheel to wheel with Shawnee Linsell. I haven't seen Lewis Greathead for a couple of weeks. We know how it ended when they went to wheel in Willow Springs. You mentioned the quality here. It's so competitive. It's going to be interesting to see how everybody stacks up when the Master returns in a couple of weeks, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, it's not like... It's almost like a different league, almost. You know? It's Genshi's gone, but yeah, it's not like we've had this quality of, or this large of a pack trying to chase him down. It's usually been, you know, just 2 or 3 of us who maybe on our night might be able to push him, but and then there's been that third group of guys. But it's been really awesome over the last season and a bit, seeing guys like, you know, Rain Campbell, Aiden Luthwaite, Mark Gomes sort of separate themselves from that third group and jump up and become genuine contenders. And now we've got the likes of Lazarus, the 9-5 guys, the Drop Bear guys, are all, you know, really well credentialed in other leagues, but it's great to see them over in GSRC now applying their trade as well and going wheel to wheel with them. So yeah, it's a great place to be, GSRC Porsche Cup, that's for sure.
Indeed it is. Hey, what are your thoughts? Sorry, I know we've already spoken about the next 2 races, and if Daniel's got any more questions, he can jump in as soon as you finish answering this one from me. What keeps you busy apart from Porsche and GT4 between now and next Thursday night?
Just getting in some pracky for both of them. I can only get in the sim a couple nights a week, so yeah, we'll get back in on Wednesday and cut some laps at Silverstone to see if we can somehow get up to speed and be somewhat competitive next week. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Daniel, anything else for Mr. Muir before we let him go?
All I want to ask, and going back to the GT4 and Cup, how do you adjust so quickly between like jumping out of the GT4 car, having just done a race or 2 depending on the format, and then jumping straight into pretty much Quali for the Cup car?
Oh mate, I absolutely hate it. When the schedule was released at the end of the last season, I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. My 2 series are going back to back. I'm going to have to give up the Porsche Cup. Because yeah, I didn't think I'd be able to do it. But yeah, finished up round 1 and was like, oh yeah, I'll actually see if I can do it. And then yeah, sure enough, we were able to go into Quali, and I think we put it on pole, or maybe P2 for Quali, so that blew that theory out of the water. But it has been hard. They're very different cars to drive. Obviously, GT4 has the TC and the ABS, so the way you got to work the brake pedal is very different. So it's always a bit daunting coming straight into Quali in your first couple of laps for 2 or 3 seconds off the pace. But thankfully, I've been doing this enough now and logged enough laps in the Porsche Cup that it doesn't take too long to readjust.
All right, mate. Hey, very nice to done. Great to catch up with you again. Well done. Consistency, the key to your success at the moment. It's serving you well. Hopefully no more internet issues for the remainder of the season. Go well for the rest of the week.
Yeah, fingers crossed, guys, and shout out to Jakey Jackson and Shannon Fever for putting 3 1.9 cars in the top 6. That was awesome to see. Yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for the broadcast. They've
done a great job. There's no doubt about that. The 1.9 stable holding their own throughout the course of this campaign. So far, Corey Lazarus joins us now. We're going to get to Sam Chapman, to Paul Wood, and also Corey Bennett and Greg Heaney very shortly. Great to have Corey Bennett sliding in and having a chat on behalf of Vermilion Esports as well. But let's get to the race winner, shall we? Corey Lazarus, good evening to you. Well, for a moment there, we were looking at Swanee, or we're looking at Sam Muir, thinking even Rain Campbell. We were looking at all of that, thinking, geez, we're a chance at getting 6 different race winners in 6 races here. And you come out and rain on that parade, first repeat winner of the season, but they kept you honest, mate. Well done. Lights are on, but no one's home. Corey, I can't hear you at the moment, mate. Lights are on, no one's home. That's better. There we go.
Oh, man, I got to get used to this technology stuff.
What's going on?
Yeah, that was really, really tough. It was really good racing as well. The other boys were mega. Adam was mega in race 1, and same with Swanee in the second race. We completely missed the setup all night. Tonight the car was an absolute piece of garbage to drive. It was really, really, really hard, just battling all night. But yeah, but it was still fun. It was just extremely frustrating. I don't know, you could see with the broadcast, I just couldn't get the thing to turn all night. It was horrible.
And in saying that, though, you were still able to prevail with the round honours. You're keeping them honest on the comeback trail at the moment. The 2-round head start. I can't wait to hear your thoughts on what goes on over the next 2 weeks. We know that Sam Muir's, approaching them with a slight degree of trepidation. I'm interested to see what you think. But before that, let's talk about the tactics there in race 1. What was the mindset? What was the approach to that? Because you were close enough to Adam Hayne for the longest time that you opted to tuck in and follow him across the line.
Yeah, I was frustrated. I don't know if you can see it not in Quali. Fenced it on the hot lap. We were up quite a way on the Delta. So, I went into the first race a little bit frustrated, and Adam was just too fast. I just could not get the car to go with him. I could probably get right onto his tail, but there was I didn't have the confidence to try and make a pass. He was fast enough to put the car in the right spots and keep me at bay. The car wouldn't respond. And so, big ups to Adam. He drove fantastic in that first race.
Mate, he certainly did. Unfortunately, it all went tits up for him in the early stages of the second race. You've been in these servers enough to know that it falls that way sometimes. The second race, Swanee's copped a 45-second post-race penalty, so he's plummeted down to 20th, so it makes the winning margin look relatively good for you in 3.15 seconds, particularly when, as you say, the car's been a little bit uncooperative for you tonight. Nice to get through that one unscathed and now focus on continuing to claw your way back into the fight.
Yeah, for sure. The car came good, like on the last 2 laps when there was like no petrol in it. We could finally get it to turn, but very much looking forward to Silverstone, Brands Hatch, 2 of my favourite tracks going around. Definitely looking forward to some more battles and hopefully some fast racing.
And I guess when we look at the next couple of weeks, mate, I'm going to throw Daniel Benefield the lead here in a moment, and he can ask you a couple more questions with regards to tonight. But I want to know where your head's at with regards to Brands Hatch and Silverstone. Silverstone, I mean, a bit more of a wider flowing circuit. I mean, nearly a 2-minute lap time round there, and it's a single 40-minute race. But then we go to the tight, narrow bull ring of Brands Hatch. Denchi's threatened us with his presence there. We're looking forward to that. I'm not sure how you blokes feel about it, but we're looking forward to having Denchi back. But we know that Brands is going to be a difficult challenge in terms of the damage control that you guys are going to have to attack the second race with, because of the limited overtaking opportunities around there, not least the narrowness of the racetrack. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. At Brands, Quali's going to be all important. It's going to be, super hard to pass, as we found out a few seasons ago. Hopefully Denchi does come back for that one. It'll be awesome to have him back and have a blast around Brands with him again. And the other boys are super fast as well, so it will be tough. The reverse grid, I dare say, it's going to take a lot of patience and a lot of careful driving. It's, that track is so easy just to put a wheel or two on the grass, and then it's pretty much all over. So I guess that one's going to be about putting as much pressure on the cars in front of you as you possibly can to try and force some errors. Silverstone, love it. I just love the GB tracks, the big wide open tracks. My favourite, like Interlagos, Snowberg and Silverstone, are three of my favourites. I'm really looking forward to it.
Indeed, and we're very excited about what's to come as far as the other racing on our schedule is concerned. We'll let everybody in on the secrets there in just a few moments' time. But in the meantime, Daniel Benefield, what do you want to ask our race 2 winner?
Bro, you say you were struggling with the setup, but it looked like in race 2, Luke Swan was struggling even more so. But after the pit stop, it seemed almost like role reversal. So was it the tyres cooling off in the short stop that changed the characteristics of the car, or did Luke just find his pace again after the stop?
Yeah, Luke definitely found pace. It must have been something to do with the tyres cooling off, because it was a repeat offence after the first race, the start of the first race and the start of the second race. I just couldn't get the car to work after the stationary starts, and it looked like Luke could get the power down a lot earlier, and I was super cautious to try not to lock up brake. I don't know what it was. When it cooled down a bit, I just couldn't get it going again. Had to drive pretty defensive until essentially the second to last and last lap before the car actually felt like it could turn. Luke was. It looked like he was slightly losing pace before the stop, and then he was right up me and going into the pit and coming out, and he was just a lot quicker to react and adapt to the pace after the stop. So yeah, very good drive there from Luke at the end.
Very similar to Sam Chapman and Connor Nixon in GT4 in their feature race. It was a lot about patience, making your way through the field, a hard track to overtake. So it was all about making sure you had the run before making the move. Were you worried about losing Swan and Mazzomo early on?
Yes I was. Until a few laps ticked over and I could see that the margin wasn't really growing. It was sort of holding steady, and then we slowly pulled it in. But you probably saw in the broadcast, the only place I could pass down over the brow into that hard left-hander was really the only place I could get a jump on the guys under braking. So I don't know if anyone else is having the same issue or not, but it was a bit of a pain. But we were lucky. We were patient enough, and the laps sort of dragged on just enough, to sort of pick off the car every 2 or 3 laps, and that was the safest spot to try and pass. There was nowhere else I could actually get any momentum to make a pass anywhere else. So yeah, about it really.
I'm going to skip over Silverstone for the moment and looking at Brands Hatch. Obviously Denchi coming back, but you might know where I might be going with this. But do you think, since it's another track where it's going to be difficult to overtake, there might be a bit of fuel strategy in race 2 coming back through the top 10?
I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so now with the update. You know, you're still not going slow enough to be able to clutch and save a lot of fuel. I mean, you'll be able to save a little bit, but I think if you are trying to save a little bit around there, chances are you're going to get past, and then you're going to lose that time in the pits anyway. So no, I don't think it's going to be a fuel race at all. Not now. The cars are just made for sprinting.
Do you prefer it that way? Do you rather the old car, or do you like this update?
Much prefer this one, definitely. The that skill of the fuel save, which is funny, we sort of got really good at it towards the end, and then the car changed. But I mean, it's not like you see that in the real world in the Carrera Cup fuel saving races like that anywhere. So I'm very happy that they've sort of got rid of that aspect of it.
We'll let you go, Corey. I won't make the same mistake I made last week by saying that you're an NZ. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just thank everybody at GSRC for putting the event on and the broadcast. You guys do a fantastic job. And the Blackout OPR guys, got a couple of new members starting soon in the near future. I won't reveal yet, but exciting times at Blackout OPR. So thanks to all the guys in the background.
Very nicely done from you, Corey. Appreciate that, mate. Well done again tonight, and another round win to go with what was a clinical performance last week in that sprint race at the Algarve International Circuit in Portugal. Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table through the double header in Great Britain in the next couple of weeks, mate. Go well for the balance of this week, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Thank you, mate. Looking forward to it. Thanks very much.
Paul Wood, good evening to you. We didn't really get too much of a chance to check in with you tonight. 15th in the second race, 24th in the first, up 9 spots into the top 20, and a good run to second, I think I'm right in saying, in the open split in that race, mate. Well done.
I did not even realise that. Yeah, okay, nice. Yeah, bit of an interesting night for me. It's still wrapping my head around getting back in these Porsches. It's been a while, and they're a mean beast to try and tangle with. So yeah, once they get the grips coming from the GT4 into the Porsche with the understeer, it gets a little more drivable. But yeah, they're hard work. Enjoying it. It's something a little bit different. But yeah, hard race from start to finish with that one. It's not an easy track in these cars.
Not at all, mate. A challenging one to master, and a fair bit of action throughout the course of the early stages that you had to avoid. Am I right in saying that you were part of the double header tonight? Did we see you on track at Hockenhiem as well?
Yes, I was there, but way down the back, so it was a wet week. So, yeah, the old BMW was a real struggle. For some reason, could not get the car to want to stop no matter what we did. Every time I touched the brake out, all the lights on the dash just lit up, and as I was locking wheels and everything, and I don't know what was going on, but yeah, it wasn't a fun race, but I did the best I could, and yeah, there was just no pace in the car, unfortunately.
Talk us through, so which was better for you, Hockenhiem or Barber? Because, I mean, the GT4 field, as the boys have already said, and the Porsche field are among some of the most high class and competitive we've got this season.
Oh, I think in every field I'm racing in, that's the quality of the fields is extremely high, and the level of skill in the fields is extremely high, and it seems to be all the new members that come just seem to pile on top. So it's an ever-moving goalpost in my regard. Due to that, I'm just getting a bit older and a bit slower. But yeah, I'm struggling to keep up with these boys up the front. They're yeah, all aliens to me. But yeah, every field is hard. The GT4 is, but the Porsche as well. I think just the sheer fact that the car is not a straightforward car, so it adds an extra level of difficulty. Where the GT4s are not too bad. They've got a little bit of grip, I suppose, for the power they've got, so you can have some good door-to-door racing. But yeah, in the Porsche, any little mistake and it costs you big time. But yeah, it's I've got a long way to go, I think, before I'll be getting anywhere back near getting the championship in either of these cars, the way I'm going lately. So yeah, see how we go with coming weeks.
I think we just had Josh Zuno slip out of the booth as well, so doesn't feel like we're going to have our usual GSRC post-Thursday night race post-broadcast banter chat, but that's okay. I will have a chat with Daniel Carriso once the broadcast is finished, and Daniel Benefield as well. However, whilst we've got you, Woodsy, challenging night, as you say. Hockenhiem, a difficult circuit, or at least one that you were struggling to wrap your head around with a car that wasn't necessarily serving you all that well. Barber, obviously the late finish with GT4 meant a limited running time in the Porsche Cup car before you were unleashed for qualifying. So I guess the main benefit here and the main takeaway from this is that you were able to push your way forward through both races. It was a case of staying out of trouble and not falling backwards, mate.
Yeah, that's my usual go-to, as you're well aware. But yeah, the Porsche, the lack of laps prior to the races starting was definitely a hindrance. So yeah, come to that second race, I was definitely feeling far more comfortable in the Porsche and sort of knew what to expect, lap in, lap out. The first race was a bit of trial and error, still figuring out little turning points and the correct gearing for some of the corners. But yeah, it's always a challenging track, this one, because it's a very long corners here, and if you've got any sort of understeer or anything like that in the car, and if you've got a bit of a heavy right foot like I do, it just adds to the problem. So you've got to adapt on the fly if you want to get any decent results here, which luckily I did manage to do a little bit. So yeah, I think a little more time, maybe you could have gained a little bit more pace. But yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy with the result, considering the minimal amount of laps going into the event and the outcome by the end of it.
Looking forward to seeing in action next week. What keeps you busy between now and next Thursday, mate? And what are your initial thoughts on the doubleheader next Thursday night? Of course, we've already mentioned Algarve for GT4, which we visited recently in the Porsches, of course, and then Silverstone in the Porsche Cup.
Algarve, looking forward to. I think it's a fun track. It's got lots of character to it, so I look forward to that one. Silverstone's, it's not one of my favourite tracks, but I'll give it a go. Again, to me, it feels very similar to what Barber will in the fact that it's a sort of long-loaded corners. So yeah, you got to get that front end under control. If you can keep the car balanced, it should be fun. But yeah, other than that, for me, it's just we've got Radicals on Friday and the GT3s on a Monday night. So that's what's keeping me busy at the moment. But yeah, this is the hardest night of the week for me at the moment with doing the double header. But enjoying it and just trying to expand the skill level a little bit to see if it had to gain a bit of pace across all the cars I'm racing. So
notable absence in your itinerary at the moment because of your disdain for oval racing. We haven't seen any of the NASCAR trucks yet.
Yeah, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. When I saw that one, I'm like, yeah, that's just not my cup of tea. So be clear.
Oh dear.
That's
very good.
Like.
Indeed. Not going to hang around too much with you here, mate. We know that we're pressed for time, and it's after 10:30 on the eastern seaboard in the progressive and civilised parts thereof anyway. So go well for the rest of the week. Go well for the weekend. Look forward to seeing you on track on Monday night, and we'll have a chat again next Thursday as well. Cheers.
No worries. Thanks, guys.
Just before I do get to Corey Bennett and Greg Heaney, though, and Chapo's here too, we need to have a chat with him about 35 to 50, if you don't mind. Let's bring in Daniel Benefield. I think Woody makes an interesting point there. It's become a juggling act, a balancing act, trying to juggle real-world commitments with, leisurely stuff. And at the end of the day, let's be perfectly honest, we're not racing for sheep stations here. We're not racing for contracts. We're not expecting Roland Dane or Christian Horner or anyone like that, or Roger Penske to pick up the phone. So for Woodsy to still find as much time as he does to dedicate to the craft, it just goes to show you how much the blokes that commit to 2, 3, in his case 4 championships, Daniel, just how much they enjoy it for one, but how much time and effort is required to be competitive and justify your output and your input as well in many respects. And Woodsy's not trying to bite off any more than he can chew at the moment.
Especially when you consider practice as well on top of the actual race service. So like, you think about doing the double tonight, a lot of the guys do it, including Paul Woods. That's 3 hours, 3.5 hours between both servers going practice, GT4, Quali, both races, straight into, well, pretty much straight into Quali for the Cup car then, and then two races then. Now that's four races in the space of 2 hours essentially.
And it's 3.5 to 4 hours for us here in the broadcast booth as well. It's a big night. And, I mean, we do 4 broadcasts a week at the moment. I mean, I do 2 of them. Daniel's in here for one, so too Mr. Correa Saar. But everybody's got their hands on deck in some way, shape or form. And I guess you know of which you speak as well, Daniel, because you're there racing as well on a Monday night. I'm not allowed to talk about that apparently. That's off limits, what happened earlier in the week, 72 hours ago. But the reality is that you know the juggle, you know the time required that you've got to dedicate to the craft to be as competitive as you have been so far this season in GT3. Throw in your commentary commitments here as well and everything else you do within 9.5 Sim Sport.
Yeah, we won't mention how much practice I put in for this week either, really, because there wasn't any. But yeah, like, again, it comes down to real life commitments, and yeah, when you have time to practice, and it's why I respect the guys that do, like the especially the guys that did the double header on a Thursday and on a Monday. I know there's a couple of guys that do LMP2 and GT3 on a Monday night as well. But to put in the practice and then adjust, like in the qualifying server pretty much for the second one. In this case, on the Thursday night, going from GT4, I almost said GT3 then, GT4 to the Cup car, and then, if anything, the Monday night one is worse because it's from LMP2 to GT3, and that's a totally different car to drive.
Indeed it is. Let's press on here because we are running out of time. Corey Bennett, Sam Chapman, Greg Heaney to get to. Corey, welcome back. Nice to have you at the booth again. Nice to have you back out there on the racetrack. And 16th in race 1, topped by 9th in race 2. A solid push forward, mate.
Yeah, it was. It was good to be back out there. Just upgraded to triples during the week, so I didn't really get as much practice in as I would have liked. So the practice session and the qualifying session were pretty much my first laps. So yeah, it was a good experience.
And give us your thoughts on the improvement in the Porsche car in recent times, how they handled around Barber Motorsport Park, because we've had some mixed reviews on that, as you might have already heard, being in the server in the booth here with us post-race for a little while now, and just what you made of the night at large, and if you're happy with those 2 race results and the way in which the narrative played out for you.
I do like the changes they've made to the Cup car. If you had heard me in my Discord tonight, I was not happy because the setup was just like, lads, there's just no turn tonight. It was just so understeery, and just you had to really work hard to get the car where you wanted it to be. Again, same issue as the fuel load came off. It obviously got a little bit better, but kind of screwed the strategy in the second race. Didn't save enough early, and then I got caught in no man's land, so I just had to sort of undercut.
Talk us through the back part of that race there, mate, because you had to fend off Eli Donaldson. You were able to jump past the coughing and spluttering Mark Gomes, and then actually, to be fair, it's 8th place in this race because of that 45-second penalty for Luke Swan. So what happened on those closing laps?
Yeah. I mean, I was surprised to pass Mez with 2 laps to go. I couldn't sort of believe at the time that he'd run out of fuel. And then, obviously I caught Mark pretty much on the front straight. And then, Eli, the last lap, I saw him sort of setting up for a lunge down to T1, and I probably covered it a little bit late, to be honest. And we sort of made nose to rear contact, but we managed to get through. He had some really good pace at the end, but I just was able to sort of fend him off, and as soon as I got a break out of T1, it was pretty cruisy to the end.
Indeed. Is this going to be a regular ongoing commitment for you for the balance of the season?
Yeah, with the remaining schedule of how good it looks, I definitely want to try and get back into something more ongoing. Obviously, I'm now set up properly again, so yeah, basically between P-Cup and Motorsport Nationals for the F4 on a Monday, there'll be pretty much these two sort of focus until we kick off for Gen 3 Supercar next year.
The Vermilion Esports stable's holding its own at the moment very nicely.
Yeah, it's going really well. We have a lot of really talented, fast guys that are all sort of fairly young, so it's really good to sort of, like, I'm one of the old heads, myself and Jake, are sort of the dads of the group, really. Yeah, it's like, if you had have said we'd have like over 40 drivers at the start of last year, I would have laughed, but yeah, it's going really well. I'm so proud of like how the guys have prepared, particularly the Pro Invitational guys. We've had some really good results this year, and even at Scops Imola on the weekend, it was fantastic as well. So it's really good to see the guys putting in and working hard.
Yeah, you were talking there about supercars, Formula 4, a few other things. Of the cars you apply the trade in, which is your preference, and where does the Porsche stack up?
I've always loved the Cup car. I think it's a car that I definitely love getting back into. But I've also found that the F4 is helping a lot with sort of changing my driving style a little bit. It's definitely helping me with sort of braking application and that sort of stuff. And I'm sort of working with Zach to get a lot faster in that sort of car. And hopefully it's sort of transferring across at the moment. So if I can spend a bit of time next week prepping for the Silverstone race, I think it's going to be really good. Fingers crossed.
All right, mate. Hey, nice to have someone that fits the description of versatile in the booth on a Thursday night, because you've heard there from Corey. He's been dabbling in tin tops as well as open wheelers. While we've got him, Daniel, is there anything you want to ask him?
Corey, it seems to be a consensus that this new update to the car doesn't really suit this track. We've had Corey and everyone else say that the car's just really struggled. Is it understeer that's the issue, and the lack of weight over the front of the car that's causing it?
Yeah, so the update has been fairly good in terms of like making the car feel more connected to the road, I feel. But tonight it really just felt like you turn the car and you just get nothing. So I don't know whether it was it was set up, but I also think that the track temps are quite high compared to the official sessions at the moment. So the setup's not quite optimized with a heavy fuel load for such a hot track. But overall for the season, I think the car is a lot better. Hopefully next season they continue to sort of make it feel a little bit more planted, like it is IRL from guys that I've spoken to that actually drive in the sim and in real life. It's still a little bit disconnected. It's almost sort of not as much connection as a GT3 car, but like there's a lot more connection than what iRacing has. So hopefully they've made some really good strides in the last couple of updates. So I hope they continue to that moving forward.
Watch this launch from Corey Bennett here too, Daniel, just before you ask the next question. Got 2 spots before he even got past the start-finish line. And then obviously there was a little bit of rubbish going on to the outside. It was a cautious sort of approach, and even had to take some evasive action through there, but he made inroads off the start, and there was the 3rd one that he gained as well. So it was a good opening lap for Corey Bennett. Keep going. Daniel?
Corey, do you think, because it wasn't the greatest quality performance tonight, in terms of where you think you need to focus, is it quality pace? Is it sorting the tyre out more over a race one? Where do you think your weaknesses and where you need to improve is at the moment?
The weakness here was I've just done no laps. It's literally a track that I've never driven at, as crazy as that sounds being on the sim for so long. So pretty much I'd done about 10 laps around here before tonight. So getting sort of into the low 25s for me was good during the race. I think qualifying is obviously definitely key in these cars, but I think also tyre life, particularly over the longer races. In the second race, I was just really cautious about trying to keep the temps low and not sliding the car too much, because I know how much they fall off, and when they fall off in this car, it's very sketchy to drive. So yeah, I think the time management was fine. Just the quali pace and the overall pace needs to improve, and that ultimately just comes with seat time, I think.
And obviously we already have a few Vermilion guys within both the club and racing in both GT4 and the Cup car on a Thursday night. Do you think there'll be any more joining, or just the small group that you've got in here at the moment?
I think just because we've been so busy with Logi and a few other things, a lot of the guys are sort of not burnt out as such, but they're sort of just taking a bit of downtime before we sort of launch for 2025. So there might be a couple more guys that sort of join in as the season progresses, as they're sort of like recovered a little bit. As we know, there was Logi had its second last round last night. So yeah, I'm sure there'll probably be two to three more guys coming in at some stage, but for this season it's probably just the 5 or 6 of us, unless some guys want to come in with her. There's a couple of guys that really like Brands Hatch, so hopefully Denchi has some competition with Corey and a couple of the other guys that jump in.
And last one from me, not so much a question, more a statement. Can you tell Lewis Greathead to slow down on a Monday night, please? No. It'd be appreciated.
Yeah, I'll let him know. I think he'll probably take it under advisement, I'd reckon. But no, it's really good to see Lewis doing the GT3. I wish I could, but yeah, it just clashes with MA Nationals. So maybe next season I'll be back with the GT3, which is the native stomping ground. So yeah, fingers crossed.
The other thing as well, Corey, got to get your thoughts on the next stop for the Porsches, which is Silverstone. What are your initial thoughts on that and views?
I'm like Laz. I really like the sort of the open, fast, sweeping layouts like Silverstone. It really sort of wouldn't say takes the risk out of it, but it definitely sort of, you get all the pace from just being super committed. And I think with the Porsche, if you get a nice setup and the car just flows, it's actually a really good combination. And same as Brands, another circuit that I really enjoy, particularly in GT3 cars. It sort of, when it's all hooked up, they're really nice for racetracks to sort of take this car to. Brands probably being more so than Silverstone.
Yeah, Brands has the all the right ingredients to be absolutely must watch. Could be best of both worlds. Could be terrific racing, but also utter carnage. It'll be interesting to see the depth of the field on that night. Go well for the rest of the week, mate. We do appreciate you stopping on by to have a chat to us after the race.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Do a great job. It's good to see you back in the booth, and I'll catch you guys soon.
You will indeed. There is Corey Bennett. It's a Greg Heaney for the Whiskey Business post-race report, and El Chapo. Now, Greg, well done. An interesting night. Had to try and stay out of some trouble there. Got up from 32nd in race 2 to finish a respectable 25th, which is, if I'm looking here, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th in split.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, happy with my results tonight. Both races gained positions. I think it was more with attrition than actually overtaking. But hell, if somebody spins out in front of me, I'll take it. I'm not going to complain. But yeah, no, it was good racing there. I know there was a good few laps with Joe in race 2, which I think is what we're seeing here at the moment. That I got the call of it's 3 wide, and I'm like, what? Where? And then I got 3 wide on the exit, which is what we've just seen Joe chalk him up and put himself on the grass. But yeah, that was it was a good night of racing. Tristan Kosh kept me honest in the first one. He was only about a half a second back for the most part of race one, and yeah, certainly keeping me honest. I'm not sure about echoing the comments of previous guys that we've spoken to tonight about the car setup. I threw the setup in. I think I did about half the practice time turning some laps. The car felt fine to me, though I am a little bit slower than the other guys, and yeah, I've managed to be able to get it around the track pretty well. I think I almost made it through race one without an incident point, and then ran it off the track, and it was like, you idiot.
The rest of the stable, it looked like, were you the line flyer out there for Whiskey Business tonight in the Porsches?
Yeah, that was me.
Wow.
Yeah, a chunk of the guys are doing practice for the next majors event around, I think it's Nord's GP, and that's a big mixed category race. So I know there's a few guys looking at doing some laps and stuff for that. Though I do expect we will have a fairly sizable contingent on track tomorrow night.
And there's a good reason for that, but before we get to that, and Daniel Benefield might yet have a couple of questions for you with regards to the Porsches as well, but I want to get your thoughts on how the rest of the stable fared over in GT4, because it was a pretty entertaining curtain raiser tonight.
I don't know if I actually had anybody in GT4s tonight. I don't think we did. Okay, if we did, it might have been Dane Snadden. I don't know, because I haven't spoken to him yet, because he wasn't on comms tonight, and I was kind of half. No. If the guys are running in their own race, and I have no issues if they don't jump into comms, because I'm not running GT4s myself this season. So if the guys want to run their own race and by themselves, if they want to jump into the category and don't want to jump into comms, not a problem. They can run it on themselves. I know, particularly with some of the guys, like, say, for example, Aiden and Jackson, I know during race, Aiden will just go completely silent. Even though he's on comms, he'll be completely silent for the whole race. It's probably just focus and concentration. If the guys want to do that, that's fine. I've got no issues.
All right, very nicely done. Before we go to tomorrow night, Daniel, anything to ask Greg about how tonight played out?
Not so much tonight, Greg, but we have had a rather lack of Aiden Luthwaite and Jackson Dahl this week as a whole.
Correct.
Across all series, to be honest. So is it more just prep for the majors race? Is that what that's down to?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm putting it down to that. I know Jackson was putting it away for a couple of weeks due to not having tracks and outside commitments, so like work and so forth. Aiden had family commitments on last Friday, which may well have contributed to him not being here on Monday. But yeah, I'm going to have to speak to the boys and see if we can get them on a bit more. But I would expect, I think this majors one's on in a couple of weeks. So I'd say we'll probably have at least 90% of the crew back on deck within the last handful of weeks. And with any luck, we get everybody back on and a fairly sizable push into season 125.
Indeed, and of course the Radicals tomorrow night, mates. The concrete canyon of the streets of Chicago. How are they feeling about that?
Well, we did an impromptu practice session last night. I think I ended up turning about 50 laps in about an hour and a half. Yeah, those bumps turn up pretty quick, and if you're not paying attention, you'll end up in a wall. But I had Jackson sweating a little bit because I was actually out of our group. Now, obviously, you guys have watched me on stream for a bit. I'm not the fastest one of our guys. I was faster than Jackson, so I'm going to keep that. We've got it on record in G61, and so it's done. It's in the book, and it's like, yep, cool. I just have to be not so polite when he's trying to go past me.
Correct. Yeah, there's no place for politeness on the racetrack if it's for inter-team bragging, right? It's fair thinking. Go for it, mate. Good luck with that. What are your thoughts on next week? Because I know we've got, I know the boys, if we see Dane Snadden, GT4 from Portimao, and then of course you guys serving up hopefully what will be an entertaining 40 minutes from the Silverstone circuit in England.
Yeah, I would expect that Dane will most likely be on for Portimao next week if he's doing the GT4s. As for Silverstone, I'll probably be around the back somewhere with Woodsy because I'm not a huge fan of the circuit myself, and when I have been there, I'm not overly fast, so I'm more interested in the race at Brands the week after.
Geez, you did well not to get caught up in that garbage that was happening just there.
I honestly think tonight I did well to not get up in a lot of garbage that happened around me. I did actually, that spin there from through the hairpin, I did actually cop a 4X from that with just a glancing blow. I'm surprised it didn't damage my car.
Oh dear. Just to give everybody at home the heads up, point standings will be updated tomorrow by Adam Lavis. We'll get them to you first up next Thursday night. Greg Heen, we'll let you go at this point. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it.
No worries. And just a quick one. You want Carnage for, well, you're probably expecting Carnage for Brands Hatch, being it's a very tight little circuit. You might want to check the long-range forecast.
Oh, okay. Copy. Even better.
Spicy carnage.
I like it. I like it a lot. And we'll be right if you're a Brit or you've or you're a Victorian. You'll be right at home in a couple of weeks when we get to Brands Hatch, by the sounds of what Greg Heeney's saying there. Sam Stride's here for the post-race show. We'll get to him in a moment. The post-race show. Let's get to Sam Chapman in the meantime. Yes, I heard that, Chapo, but I'm sure Stride did as well. You're in for it once we sign off here. However, well done. That was what a way to fight back in the second race, mate. Up 30 spots, if you don't mind, and you did it without stopping. Just how close were you to being running on the smell of an oily rag as you coughed and spotted over the start-finish line, please?
Yeah, I think I got round the first couple of corners afterwards, but then we coughed after that. So, yeah, no, it was after... Geez, I've been crap on the brakes tonight, I tell you what. After that first race, just I looked and I don't think I considered number one the cold tyres and number two that it was 15 degrees hotter on track, and just went absolutely straight into that braking zone, and yeah, made a rough of my own back. But yeah, super happy with that second race. Yeah, it was right back in the pack there. I knew there wasn't much option to overtake, so and you know, fuel savings are strength, so we went for that.
Indeed. Obviously, race one not ideal, but a nice way to at least, you know, limit the damage done tonight with that drive back through the field.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been as I said, I'm still sort of getting the hang of these cup cars. I've not done a lot of time in them, and I don't, you know, with GT4 beforehand, I don't get a lot of practice either. I sort of did a couple of laps before the GT4 pracky, yeah, I think I got one or two in before Quali, so yeah, I was pretty happy with that qualifying as well. I've qualified that well before, so was pretty happy with that, but yeah, obviously threw it away. So the pace to get out there tonight, it was, I like the track. Barber's a great little track. I actually put on better racing in these than I thought it would, really, being, you know, relatively tight, but I guess with it being so tricky, you can get a bit of differential with it.
Daniel, any questions for Chapo before we press on to looking ahead?
Chapo, I'm going to go back to GT4 briefly because we didn't get much time to chat.
No, we didn't get a chance. No, you're right.
In terms of the championship, a good night for you. 2 top 5s, including the win in race 2, of course. Not a good night for Johnny Merritt, not a good night for Sean Linsell, but Sam, you're always there or thereabouts, of course.
Sam Muir is always there or thereabouts. As I've said before, he's very difficult to beat the GT4 car. So, yeah, him having some technical difficulties for a change, I'm not going to argue with. But yeah, unfortunate for him. He'll be the class of field all season, I would imagine. Along with, like, Linsell's been really quick all season. John's there or thereabouts. So that, yeah, sometimes has an off night here or there. And the Bimmer didn't look, you know, anywhere near as fresh as what it has in the first couple of rounds, which is interesting. So, yeah, very happy with that, with the GT4 position. It's funny, I'm the same boat as Sammy with, you know, juggling the 2 series and trying to work out both cars in one night while, you know, clocking off work at 6 p.m, 6:30. So it's it's a bit of a challenge, but it's a fun challenge to have, and it's been really, really good racing. It's always good racing. The GT4s, particularly up the front there, they're just really good, clean races there, and you can do some pretty good battles.
And the lock up into one, obviously compromised race one. Lock up into the hairpin, on lap one, really compromised race one. Do you feel maybe there might have been a race win on the cards because you're kind of in and around that top 10 in qualifying, so there would have been a possibility of a front row or two start for race 2? So do you think the win might have been on without that mistake in race 1?
Maybe. I think with, the ability to fuel save, and I tend to be able to do it sort of near the front or near the back. I probably wouldn't have been able to beat Corey and those sort of guys on pace, with how much they know about this car and the time that they've put in and the absolute pace that they've got. But potentially on strategy, it could have been there or thereabouts. So that's unfortunate, but I'll take 30 spots gained. I thought there might be a few more guys giving it a red hot crack, really, with the amount of cars out there and a relatively tight circuit.
And how, I know you loved how this track raced, but the consensus across most people was that the car struggled. It was a lot of understeer. Were you having the same issues?
I think you always sort of do in the Cup car, but I mean, I don't really know the car well enough and the setups well enough to, make a bold claim as to whether or not the setup felt good or not. It seemed to work for me. It's also hard to, when you're rolling off into corners. It always feels okay because you're taking it relatively easy and just focusing on getting that exit right. So it seemed to feel okay for me tonight, but I'd imagine it's just with the track temp really rising up between Quali and the race, that might have caught a few people out as it did me race 1.
Sorry to go back and forth, but going back to GT4, do you think you would have had Connor if he didn't have that slowdown towards the end? Because it seemed like you were catching him, but then after he said the slowdown, he really stuck with you.
Yeah, I had good pace, but I was still having to save fuel. I'd only fueled 9 litres. I think, you usually fuel 12 or maybe 13 or something around there. So I was trying to catch up in the pit lane after, I got a bit caught up behind the 2 guys ahead when he got past. So, he got out sort of 3 seconds ahead. So I knew that was probably my game there. I think there's a chance because the idea was effectively to save behind him for a couple of laps and give it a red hot crack in the final. And the car did have pace out there tonight, but it would have been, it's a 50-50. It's a what if as to whether or not I could have got past. He was really quick tonight and raced really well. So yeah, it's hard to know, but I think there would have been a chance either way. And then once I got past, it was just. It almost made it harder because I was still saving ahead of him, so I just had to roll off at the points where I knew he wouldn't be able to get an overtake. But that sort of held him up in its own right because he couldn't, predict my entries and exits as easily as if I was running at full pace.
In terms of next week, so GT4 at Portimao, Porsche Cup at Silverstone, are you looking forward to a particular one over the other?
I like Portimao, but I've not had a great history there, I tell you what. It's been what was it? We did that last week, I think, in the Porsches, and I had a meatball within about half a second of race start with a car stopped ahead of me. So, and I don't think it's the only time at Portimao really that we've had mischiefs. So, we'll see. I think it'll be good fun. It's a great racetrack, and the GT4s are always fun to race. And then, Silverstone. I've done okay at Silverstone in certain races, but it's. probably not my favourite sort of track for these cars. I like to be able to really quite like the short corners in these cars and being able to V them and get that rear around a bit more. And Silverstone will be a bit of a different case, but being able to sort of smoothly come on and off the throttle, I think would be quite good, and it'll make good racing throughout the night. I don't think it's a single round, not a sprint round, isn't it, next week? So, so I'll have to, not screw up the first race because there's only one of them, which will be my challenge for the round, I guess.
I like it.
I like
it.
Should be good fun.
All right, mate. I think we might leave it there because we're at 11 Eastern Daylight Time, and I reckon it's time to wrap things up and get into the proper post-race show. And you know what I mean by that. Exactly. Daniel Benefield, final thoughts from you. Jeez, some great stories out of tonight, but I tell you what, there'll be a few people ruining what might have been. They'll be happy to see the back end of both Hockenhiem and also Barber.
Definitely some shake-ups in the championship races and in both categories. We saw championship leader in both, and in GT4 it was Sam Muir having technical issues in race 2, and in the Porsche Cup it was Simon Mazzomo forgetting to pit for fuel in the second race. So that's really going to throw up a cat amongst the pigeons even. In terms of the championship standings.
And Simon Mesmo straight back to grade 2 mathematics or searching for a new fuel strat calculator, because I know that there are a few different ones out there, and they've been known to throw the odd bum steer in their time. Particularly unlucky for Simon Mesmo tonight, and there'll be a few people within the 9.5 stable, no doubt, ribbing him over that one.
And one of them definitely isn't going to be me.
Yes, said with a great degree of tongue-in-cheek and sarcasm intended. Daniel, great effort from you tonight, mate. Thank you. Enjoy Coldplay next week. Thankfully, you're going to the Melbourne show, not the Sydney show, because if you were going to the Sydney show, I know one person that is going, and I'd suggest taking the snow jacket with you. Such would be the ice cold temperature of the room. But enjoy Melbourne, enjoy Coldplay, and we look forward to seeing you here in a fortnight's time. And hopefully, by the way, a better run for you in GT3 from the circuit Gilles Villeneuve on Monday night before.
Well, yes, we'll see how Monday night goes, and then we'll go from there. But yes, if I don't end up stopping around Monday night, I don't think I'll be around. I won't miss a week of GT3 because of when we're flying. So it will be either next Monday or the Monday after, or if not that, it'll be Thursday 2 weeks.
Exactly, which will be Oaks Day from Flemington, ladies and gentlemen, the Melbourne Cup Carnival upon us. There he is, Daniel Benefield, doing a very nice job here in play-by-play commentary with yours truly on a Thursday night. Let's have a look at what's coming your way. Actually, no, before we look at what's coming your way, let's thank the people that make it possible for us to do what we do here and just sit in the booth and talk smack for nearly 4 hours on end on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday night, whichever night we please, really. Big thanks to Spreyton Cider, to Waste Options, to the great people at Bowen's, the Builder's Choice. I also need to mention all the other names that are scrolling across the bottom of your screen there, like Orbic Australia, JJZ Constructions, merch.tgsrci.com, M-Wave Australia, and Flash Graphics. Right. Let's now have a look at what's coming your way on the platforms, the Challenge Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. Tomorrow night, Bowen's, the Builder's Choice, Downforce Legends for you. We've been talking about this one already. Chicago Street Circuit, 20 minutes for race 1, 30 minutes for race 2. Top 25 reverse grid there. Geez, that'll be fun. If you thought the inverts here tonight were good. Tomorrow night on the Street Circuit, yeah, good luck, Joe Baldwin and Nick Photiartis with you from 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time for that one. I'm so glad that I'm nowhere near that one, to be honest with you. Saturday Mountain Men, of course. Joe mentioned it earlier, the Xfinity Series NASCAR from Mount Panorama. Again, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time and 32 laps ahead of them there. Monday night, we get Week 5 underway, and by the end of Week 5, we're at the midway point of the campaign. We're at the midway point of Turn 4. Hard to believe, I know. The Red Bull Ring first up. Last Monday night hit out of October for you. 30 minutes to journey there for the Spreyton side LMP2 challenge to be immediately followed by a trip to the circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada, and another dabble into sprint racing. We'll start with the AM split for race 1, the Pro AM split for race 2, and that will include the top 10 invert. 13 and 23 laps, those two races respectively. Our only trip to Canada this season on a Monday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, introductory formula, skip Barber's Oran Park, and then that's immediately followed by a sprint round at the Mazzano World Circuit for Wings and Slicks Super Formula Lights from 9:15 Eastern Daylight Time. Wednesday night, back on air, Sam Chapman in here with Liam Banks. They're bringing you the, I tell you what, it's going to be well worth tuning in next Wednesday night, folks. Have a look at that. Talladega Super Speedway, ladies and gentlemen. 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time as the NASCAR Orbic Truck Series continues on the platforms of the GSRC for round 5. And then onto the circuit to Spa-Francorchamps for a 60-minute outing for the Super 2 and Super 3 Challenge. And that's from 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We're back with you next Thursday night, Daniel, Josh and I, whilst Benefield's enjoying Coldplay. And we will be bringing you all the action from Portimao, first up for the GT4s. And I'm just having a look here. I didn't even realise that we're going sprint racing next week with GT4, but we are, so we're looking forward to that. GT4 next week, 9 laps to the journey for race 1, 14 for race 2, and top 10 invert there for them, 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time, immediately followed by round 5 of the Porsche Cup, race 7 of the campaign, 40 minutes to journey from the Silverstone Circuit in England, 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, the first of a 2-week swing through the United Kingdom, and the second of which will feature the return of the GOAT of GSRC Porsche Cup competition, the number 1, the one and the only, Denchmark himself. Looking forward to that immensely. Seriously, hope you enjoyed tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Just quickly on the way out, a couple of dots that need to be covered off here. I's that need to be dotted, T's that need to be crossed. Firstly, a lot of people reached out and said g'day because I put up a post yesterday marking 9 years since brain surgery, so I just wanted to publicly thank those people. Secondly, want to wish Mark Winterbottom all the best. I don't publicly engage in a lot of chatter regarding supercars, but I remember meeting Frosty before he broke the big time. He won the Australian Karting Championship at the Newcastle Kart Club going back many a year. 2001 it was, in Clubman Light. He won the Australian Nationals back when it was a one-off championship Easter weekend event, and met him that day, followed his career closely, enjoyed what he brought to the sport, was there when he won Bathurst in 13, was there when he won the championship in 15. He's a legend at the Cape and one of the nice guys of the paddock. We wish him all the best with what's next now that he's stepping away from full-time driving. I'm off to Amy Shark tomorrow night. I cannot wait for that. If you're in Sydney or around the area, someone wants to come and say good day over lunch or a pre-event drink or whatever the case may be, let me know, because I had lunch plans, but they've fallen through. But yes,
come say hello, Mr.
I might do that, Chubbo. Yeah, touch base with me afterwards and let me know where you're going to be. But yeah, I'm in Sydney tomorrow and cannot wait. Amy Shark tomorrow night at the ICC, and first and only concert of the year that I'm going to since I've bailed on Coldplay, and of course well worth the price of admission. Looking forward to catching up with a uni friend as well whilst I'm down there. Then straight back up on Saturday. Good luck to all and sundry competing in the Cessnock Mitsubishi Australian Postie Bike Grand Prix this weekend on the streets of Cessnock, the ninth running of the event, the 10th anniversary. It is this Sunday on the streets of Cessnock from 9 a.m. right through to about 5 p.m. and then the fanfare carries on well into the night at the Cessnock Leagues Club, so looking forward to that immensely. And of course, on the way out, we want to say a big thanks to everybody that's tuned in throughout the course of the evening. If you want to get involved, race.tgsrci.com for more information. Or if you want to get a stocking stuffer for someone, loved one or whatever for Christmas, or Kris Kringle, whatever the case may be, gsrcmerch.myshopify.com or merch.tgsrci.com for all the paraphernalia there with the GSRC branding on it. And a big thanks to the team that have put that together for us over the many years in which we've been selling it. Hopefully you filled your bingo card up tonight, and if you haven't, there's an election on in the alleged Sunshine State this Saturday, right? before they get nude on the Story Bridge in Brisbane on Sunday morning for Spencer Tunick, the famous art photographer that gets everybody to get their kit off. So that's going to be incredibly good fun at 3 a.m. when the sun gets up in the Sunshine State on Sunday morning. But yes, don't cock it up is my advice to Queensland this weekend. I'm not going to get any more political than that. But unfortunately, the only bad news to come out of the Leaders Forum earlier in the week is that neither one of them has a stiff enough spine to have a stance on addressing the daylight saving issue. But what's new, because that is Queensland after all. In other events, enjoy Formula One, enjoy MotoGP, enjoy the Gold Coast 500. They're all on this weekend. NASCAR as well. Big weekend of World Motorsport in the real world. And of course, if you're having a punt this Saturday, it's Cox Plate Saturday. There's rugby league, there's AFLW, there's the start of the WBBL as the cricket gets underway. There's a lot to look forward to this weekend as far as sport is concerned. So get out and enjoy that. Thanks for coming along for the ride tonight. Sincerely hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. And we look forward to having your company again tomorrow night with Joe Baldwin and Nick Fodiatis, and Monday night when Week 5 gets underway. Until then, on behalf of Josh Zuno, Daniel Carrier-Sard, Daniel Benefield, and the entire GSRC broadcast, commentary and production team here, I'm Zach Caden, wishing you a very good night and a very good weekend, everybody. Until we see you next time, it's bye for now.